closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello and welcome to Live at the Bike. I'm David Tuckman here on a Friday night, my favorite day of the week, Double Fist Friday. I'm doing it solo once again. Bart is still in Vegas, crying, licking his wounds. He'll be back on Monday. We've got a really exciting game. We've got a 10-20 unrestricted buy-in game. Minimum buy-in is $1,000, and once again we are giving away $500. No strings attached. $500 to. All you have to do is, on the left-hand side of the screen, click on Pick a Winner, okay? And all you pretty much have to do is pick who is going to win the most money tonight and tell us how much they are going to win. Whoever is closest will win $500 cash. Pretty simple. Let's get to the game, see what's going on. In seat number 1, it's going to be George Giorgio. Normally we don't introduce players that aren't sitting down, but I just want to let you know who's going to be there. There it is. The Greek poker god, George Giorgio. Seat number 2, we've got Alan. That's Alan. I think he's going to be the big winner. Go ahead and vote for him. Seat number 3, we've got Jack Zariner. And back east, he's actually called the Zariner Man. I don't know why, but that's what they say. Seat number 4, we've got Hav. I like to call him Midnight. Hav was helping me out last night on the show. Very good poker player in his own right there. Seat number 5, we welcome back Boston. Apparently Boston just filmed a commercial, a State Farm commercial. He looks like a State Farm guy, doesn't he? Seat number 6, we've got none other than Corporation Mike. Mike's been on a great run lately. Unfortunately, he keeps winning money in L.A. and then going to Vegas and giving it to them. So we got to stop that bad habit out of him. Seat number 7, we've got Amir. Amir's always fun to watch in these games. Seat number 8, we've got Action Mo. And seat number 9 is Corporation Mom. We've got Trish, one of my favorite players in the game. She's really a fabulous player. Interesting to see these players in the game. A lot of the usual faces. This promises to be a really good game. You've got Amir, you've got Mike, you've got Alan. Should be a lot of action. Once again, you have till 7:30 Pacific time to pick a winner. Okay? All you've got to do is go on the left-hand side, click on Pick a Winner. Whoever you think is going to win the most, and then tell us by how much they're going to win. Very simple. We'll get right into it. Mike's on the button. I'm not sure what. I believe Mike raised. He does not have chips in front of him. He did. He made it 60 to go. Amir is going to call, and Mo is going to call. And Mo has outflopped him, but unfortunately for... and Mo is going to bet right into it. And Mo takes it down. And I believe Mo and Mike and Trish are both buying in for $3,000. So we have approximately $25,000 on this table. Normally when the game starts, it starts off a little bit slow. But by the end of it, you usually have close to $40,000 or $50,000 on the table. Button moves over to seat number 7. That's Amir. Small blind, $10. Big blind, $20. Once again, we play this game with brown chips and white chips. The brown chips you'll see, those are $10 chips. The white chips you see will be $100 chips. If you see any green chips, those are $1,000 chips. And if you see any big purple ones, those are $5,000 chips. Barry Woods is conspicuously absent. He is in Vegas, apparently giving it a shot in today's tournament in the World Series. Boston's made it $70 to go with pocket aces. Mike is called. We can't see his hand, though. And Mike's calling with the old 10-7 offsuit. And it's heads up here. Pot's $170. Not a real good flop for Mike there. Flop is King 7-3. A couple of hearts. And Boston is going to make the continuation bet. And unless Mike wants to make a move here, it's pretty much just get out of there time. But he's going to call. Seeing if maybe he can spike 2 pair. Maybe he can represent hearts also. 9 spades on the turn. Now, would you ever check this if you're Boston? Kind of inducing the bluff, but you know what? I like the bet. I was going to say, some people will check to induce a bluff, but Mike is really good about taking the card when he has to draw. And you don't want to let Mike get that for free. Now, Boston has made it 350, and he's going to take it down. And that's actually part of the reason why it always appears that Mike is getting lucky. People are checking to him, hoping he'll bluff at it. But then he takes the card, ends up hitting 2 pair, and you end up paying him off.
He makes a runner straight.
We like to keep the show as interactive as possible. So if you want to email me, email us at live@thebike.com. Any of your questions, concerns, criticisms, or you just want to say hi, I appreciate it. You can also follow us at a live thread over on 2plus2.com. Kev Math starts a thread every night. We really appreciate that. Just go to 2plus2.com, go to televised poker and other events, and then go to the Live at the Bike thread for July 7th.
How are you drawing the 7-ounce? You're on twice. How do you do that? That's pretty amazing.
And Mike is going to raise it up to $70 with the old 8-5 of clubs. And Mo is going to smooth call him with ace-king. And this is going to be interesting because Jack has limped in with pocket kings. And after Trish calls and George calls, you're pretty sure that Jack is going to re-raise this. And let's see how much he re-raises it. Yeah, and here it is.
Nice play, man.
He makes it 200 more, and that's going to probably be enough to take it down. And he does. He takes it down with the kings. And you'll see a lot of players do that. They'll limp in expecting the raise from Mike, and then you can pop it up afterwards. So Jack, Hav, and Boston are actually not in a terrible spot, because what they can do is they can limp in with their big hands, get the raise from Mike, get a few callers in there, so now you've got a lot of dead money in the pot, and now you can pop it up and take down, say, a $280 or $300 pot with very little risk.
$2,000 no limit? Oh, that's the one, the collar system for the young kids plays $400.
Once again, we're live at the Bike. I'm David Tuckman. I'm going to have a really fantastic guest commentator come in the booth in about 45 minutes. Professional poker player Paul Davis will be joining me. Trish is going to raise it up. She's got the old ace-jack offsuit on the button. She makes it 80 to go. Allen's going to call with 7-5 suited. And Hov's going to call 4-5 suited. Now, it's not a terrible flop for Allen here. He is open-ended. Hav actually has the best hand right now. The flop comes out king, 4, 6, 2 hearts. Trish has got nothing, but she's going to bet when it gets checked to her, a little continuation bet. She bets $100, kind of a weakish bet. Pretty sure Allen is going to call. I'm not sure if Hov's going to get involved. That's not the flop you're looking for when you have 4 or 5 of spades.
Me and my favorite Alan?
Heads up here.
Go ahead.
And Allen checks and Trish checks. And the queen on the river, Allen misses it, but by playing his draw so passively, well, now he's going to bet the river, and this is one of the few times where Allen will bluff at it, and it's a successful bluff. Nice bluff by him. He gets Trish off of ace high, which was the best hand. And he shows the bluff. Now, the funny thing is, you go, well, those are one of the few times where I will call Allen down. Allen is almost never bluffing on the flop. He's almost never bluffing on the turn. But Allen occasionally will bluff on the river when he misses his draw. So, little food for thought there. Other food for thought, Pirates of the Caribbean 2 came out today. Can't wait to see that. I'm kind of psyched about that one. Are you Isaac's apparently seeing the midnight showing tonight? 11:15. Where are you going to be so that people can come and stalk you? There you go. He's going to the Bridge Deluxe in Culver City. So if you want to stalk our own Isaac, he will be there at 11:15 to watch Pirates of the Caribbean. Folds around. Chop it up. Button moves over to seat number 2. That's Allen. Once again, small blinds $10, big blinds $20. Boston will be under the gun. Once again, we are giving away $500 tonight. Wow, and Mo is, he's got pocket aces. Let's see how he plays it. Couple of black aces. And he's raised it up. He's made it $70 to go. Jack is going to call with ace, king of hearts. And if a king comes off, wow, what a flop for Jack here. He has overcards plus the flush draw, but his overcards are obviously no good because Mo's got the aces. And Jack is just going to check call with his ace, king of hearts. I got to tell you, oh, and there it is. He makes the flush. He has the nuts here. And the river is the case ace. Wow. And they goes check, check on the turn. And Jack checks it again, and now Mo bets $1,500 with trip aces, and Jack's got the nuts.
I think it might actually be less than 15.
And Jack check raises all in, and Mo has trip aces.
Man, I had a flush too. Oh my God.
I paid it
Oh.
because of that. I don't pay it, but I paid it because of that.
Unbelievable. I'm trying to confirm how the action went. I know it went check, check on the turn. Both players checked. When the ace of diamonds came out, Jack check raised. So Jack actually checked the nut flush twice. Mo bit. He overbet the river, ridiculously overbet the river with the ace when the ace hit. Jack then moved all in, and did Mo call with his trip aces? He did. He called. So Jack immediately doubles up. Now, once again, our pick the winner poll does not close until 7:30. So if you quickly want to like go, oh shoot, I picked Mo, you can go in there and change it and go pick on Jack, okay? Because I got to tell you, the smart money's not on Mo anymore. Jack quickly doubles up there, and I want to get confirmation of exactly how much Jack had. I think he had $2,000 still. Looks like he had a little over $2,000. He won that small pot with pocket kings. Started with $1,700. He won about $300 with the pocket kings. So I'm going to say he doubled up there to about $4,000. And Jack there quickly up $2,300. And we got a raise out of... Mike actually straddled, and Mo has raised it up with ace jack of hearts. And Mike is going to re-raise it. He thinks maybe Mo is tilting here. And I need a little help with the action here. And Mo is called. And he's playing 5,000 behind. Both players miss. They check, check. And it check, checks again. And it checks down the entire way, and Mike's going to take it down with ace-queen high. And Mo is rebought for 5,000 more.
Don't say that one. Don't wait. Don't say that one. That hurts me.
And it's going to limp around $60. And King 9 Jack out there. Now, oh, look at that. Mike has flopped top and bottom pair. And George has got top pair. Now, Mike makes it $40 to go. George makes it $200. And now Mike's thinking, what do I do here at top and bottom? And remember, top and bottom pair here is not invulnerable. Obviously, George could already have a straight. He could have queen 10. He could also have king jack. But Mike is not going to buy it. He's going to re-raise right away. And does George really want to go to war here? He's got king, queen, top pair, kind of a medium-ish kicker here. I mean, remember, he can't beat king jack. He can beat king 10. He can beat a flush draw. He can beat a straight draw. You know, something say like ace 10 of hearts. Maybe queen 8 of hearts.
You got a minimum 2 pair to call.
And Mike tells him you need a minimum of 2 pair to call me, and he's not lying.
If I go home and I see this, I'm too fast.
And I think George is going to muck this. And it's a good laydown. Get a great email here from Justin Doyle. I'm going to let my producer address it. But question is, hey, I have a question about what you said a couple of days ago. So you guys are going to be open. It's going to be a pay-for service, open to subscribers only. What about people that aren't even 18 yet? Come on, man, don't do that. And apparently, the first 30 minutes will always be free.
100.
Mo's going to make it $100 to go with ace-queen offsuit. The one thing with Mo is he'll always gamble more if he loses a little bit in the beginning. Mike's not going to play the ace-9 there. You see how Mike doesn't want to get in there with a hand that can be easily dominated. Mike will easily call, say, 5-4, 6-4, but not ace-9. Mo's going to make the continuation bet. Surprised George actually even smooth called that with queen 10 off suit.
Yeah, that's three in your hand.
Once again, I'm live at the bike. You are watching No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 10 and 20. This is a $1,000 game, but it's an unrestricted buy-in. You can buy in for as much as you want. Probably got about $32,000, $33,000 on the table. And tonight is win $500 for free night. All you got to do is go to the left-hand side of your screen, click on Pick a Winner, pick who you think is going to win the most money tonight, and how much you think they're going to win. The person who is right and is closest to the actual number will win $500. Mike's going to raise it on the button to $60 there. You'll see Mike raise it on his button probably 70% of the time tonight. And Amir's going to call him. And Amir calls with 4-3 of hearts. I got to tell you, I just don't understand the calling with a hand like that. See, against a good player, why do I want to get in there with a bad hand out of position? Remember, Mike he's not necessarily raising with aces or kings or ace-king here. You really have no idea what Mike has. So even if you get lucky enough to hit your hand, there's a good chance Mike has nothing. Remember, Mike is not Dr. Beebe. He's not Kirk. Button moves over to seat number 7. Now, I believe you can actually, if you're under 18, I imagine you can subscribe to the archives, but you just have to get your parents' permission for that. Amir's flop top pair. Hav has got top and bottom, though. Now, is Amir really going to... Wow, Amir immediately throws it away. Look at the respect Hav gets at this table. Funny thing now is, you see, now Corporation Mike has ace-5 there, and he bets it, and Amir's got a hand like ace-9. He's not going anywhere. But with Hav betting that, Amir quickly throws ace-9. Obviously, you've got to, when you're playing in a game like this, you've really got to know your opponents and know them well.
I still feel like I owe you.
I thought it was a big pot.
It was a huge pot. It's like 4,700, 5,000.
It would be 13,000. 10,000.
You still owe her a few, Alan.
Mo's got kings on the button. Mike's got a hand that not even he plays, 9-3 offsuit.
But
And you gotta love when you get a big hand on the button because it always looks like you're stealing. And he makes it 150 to go. And nobody's gonna call him, and he's gonna take down the pot.
what are you going to do? You got to cheat your way out, you know?
kind of over bets it there, hoping somebody thinks he's getting a little
Why so much?
little out of line.
I even put $1 for you. I should call you.
And you counted it out. I thought you were going to call.
I was calling you. Yeah, I lost 3,000. He's asking me $1. It was what? To put on your trade for all year.
Got an email here from Bernie Makatange. He says, "Hey David, did you say that you have a porn producer on the show? Just wondering, thanks." And I have to apologize. We were supposed to have a porn producer, writer, director on the show tonight, but unfortunately, there's only these people are probably the only people that are more unreliable than poker players. And he's promised me that he will be on the show at a later date, though. So we will track him down. Queen 10-4. Couple of spades. This was limped around 5 ways. $100 pot.
With that hand, I would raise it.
So if you're looking to get into porn, don't worry. I'll have the guy on the show at another time. Promise. Now George is going to bet this. He's got second pair, no kicker. Is Amir going to get involved? Amir's got it there too. Now Mo's got a draw, and he's going to just call. Surprising, Mo did not bet his draw. He decided to take the card. And the river is a king, and Mo gets there. Now, unfortunately for him, nobody's really got much of anything. George checks. Amir checks, and the action's on Mo, and Mo overbets it. Look at this. He bets $1,000 into about a $400 pot. And is Amir actually thinking of calling this? Did Amir call? Amir called. Unbelievable. And Amir called. I cannot believe he fell for that trick. I mean, that really is one of the oldest tricks in the book. Let me overbet the pot, make it look like I'm stealing it, and you call with third pair. Unbelievable. I mean, I will give Mo credit. You know, one of the things that Mo, we always kind of give Mo shit because he overbets oftentimes. We always look at it going, well, you're betting 1,000 to win 400. And it's not really a very smart play because you got to think about it, how often that play has to work when you're bluffing. But by bluffing it every once in a while with those big overbets, when he overbets it when he actually has it, he gets paid once in a while, and Amir falls for it, and Mo quickly makes his money back.
No, if he calls me,
Wow.
he doesn't call.
Amir verbally called there.
Sometimes he doesn't call me. He calls me and says, "You find me down there."
Mike is going to raise it up with the old ace-7. Ace-7 of diamonds. He makes it. Looks like $80 to go. Amir is going to call. And this is the kind of hand, I mean, you wonder if what Mike does to players. You've got a person in there. Amir's in there with a hand that I don't even like to limp in with, King-9 suited. Now I'm calling a raise with a hand like King-9 suited. Allen in there with threes. And Mike makes top pair. And he's got the best hand of it by far. And he's going to make a continuation bet, and that'll probably be enough to take it down.
180.
Get an email here from Jason Whitmore. He says, how does Live at the Bike determine who is submitting what? It doesn't ask for an email for anything to confirm your pick. It just says that your pick has been submitted. Say I win with my pick. How does Live at the Bike contact me? Don't worry, Jason. We know who you are. We got another email here from Cullen out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. He says, Dave, love the show. Great idea on the pick the winner. Here's what I will do if I'm lucky enough to win the $500 tonight. I'm going to donate the money back to Bart. So that way he's not coming home $5,000 in the hole, but only $4,500. Thanks again. Keep up the great work. Mike's going to raise it up with pocket tens in kind of middle position. Mo calls. Pot is quickly $200. And Mo has outflopped him, but it's not a great flop for Queen Jack. Hard to know where you're at. Mike's going to bet. Mo calls. Now, when you're Mike here, what do you start putting Mo on? Is Mo calling you with a jack? Can I get him off it? Is he calling me with an ace? Does he have ace-king? I mean, does he have a big hand? Is he just kind of sandbagging it? Mike's in a tough spot, though, because he's out of position. And when Mike checks it, Mo is going to, use that as a cue. I'm going to see if I can take this down. Not a real draw-heavy board. I mean, somebody could have 9-10 on that flop. More likely that Mo would probably have a piece of this somehow. These guys are always playing the game within the game. I don't think Mike's going to get involved, and he throws it away. River was a 7. Wouldn't have changed anything. Mo takes it down. And like I said, you'll see Mo play more aggressively after losing with his set of aces. I'm not sure exactly why, but anytime Mo wins a quick $3,000 or $4,000, he kind of tries to hold on to it. But if he's down $3,000 or $4,000, he'll gamble it even more to try to get it back. Not really a style of poker that I'm a big advocate for, but hey, seems to work for Mo. George is going to raise it up here. He's got 6-5 offsuit. Makes it 240. Now, obviously, he's representing a big hand. Let's see how it plays out. I don't think anybody's going to call him. I really don't. Now, Mo has got King-Jack suited. But if George has what he's representing, King-Jack suited is in really bad shape. George is clearly representing, say, aces, kings, queens, ace-king, something like that. You don't really want to be in there with King-Jack suited, especially out of position. Now, some people can say, well, why do you want to risk $240 to win, say, 100 that's in the pot? But you got to remember also, though, if George gets called, he has position on the rest of the field. He can always take it away on the flop as well. Hey, and there's always a chance he can get lucky and hit the flop. And if he hits the flop, nobody will put him on that hand. Button moves over to Hob in seat number 4. Hob's going to raise in the button. He's got big slick. I imagine Mike's going to call this with 9-7 suited, and I'm pretty sure Amir's going to at least call with pocket 10s. Now, this is the kind of hand that Mike will call a raise with. He's not going to call with ace-9, but with 9-7 suited, sure, I'll take a flop. Amir's going to call, and that'll probably bring in Allen as well with the suited king, and we're going to see this 4 ways. Pot is quickly $460. To the flop. Queen, Jack, 10. Uh-oh, wow. Hob has got the nuts. He has flopped the nut straight, and Amir has flopped bottom set. Mike is open-ended, and Allen is open-ended. We're going to see fireworks here. It checks around the Hob, and he bets 200. Now, if you're Amir, you cannot be completely blind to the fact that he could have ace-king here. I mean, I got to tell you, I am not raising this. There's no chance. And Amir's going to make it 400 to go. And I got to tell you, if I'm Hob, I'm raising it right back. I want this guy to have 2 pair. I want him to have a set. No need to slow play this at all. This guy is telling me he's got a big hand. Allen folds with the king 8. And there's the king, and that's really an action killer. That really has got to be an action killer. Now, depending on how much Hob bets, though, Amir can call it to see if he can hit his full house. You got to realize, though, there's a chance, though, that Hob could have a bigger set. Remember, he raised. He could have a set of queens, a set of jacks, or a set of kings here. And in that case, you are almost drawing dead. Now, right now, the pot, how much did Hob bet there? $800 Hob bet. The pot is about $1,300. The pot is now $2,100, $800 to call. And Amir's going to call, and I got to tell you, I hate this call. Because you got to realize, at best, he has a straight. But at worst, you are drawing to 110 and only a 10. And the river's the 8 of clubs, does not get there. And Hav is now going to move all in, and Amir can beat nothing. Amir can beat absolutely nothing. I mean, you got to start thinking of the hands that Hav might have raised with. What can you beat with a set of 10s? You can't beat any ace. You can't even beat pocket 9s now. And Amir's going to throw it away. And I got to tell you, when that cup flop comes out and I have a set of 10s, I'm going to try to keep the pot as small as possible until I hit a big card. I'm going to maybe call the $200, see the turn. When the king comes off, maybe check again, see what he bets. And if he bets too much, I just get rid of it.
Say it was a bad turn card.
So once again, our big promotion tonight, $500. All you've got to do is pick the winner. We got about 5 minutes left in our poll. And all you got to do is, on the left-hand side, click on Pick a Winner. Click on who you think is going to win. Click on who you think is going to win them and how much they're going to win. And you win $500. Very simple. No strings attached. We're just giving $500 away. We're just feeling all giddy and happy inside. Kind of a happy day.
Trying to find a way to get your cards back. Check your legs.
Limps around. You know, it's always tough when you flop bottom set there, but you've got to realize what can you beat when a solid player like Hav is calling your raise, betting it strong. Not much you can beat there. Mike's going to steal it with bottom pair. Had the best hand.
You have 2 overcards.
Button is over in seat number 6. And Mike is going to, he limps in there. We're going to see this 5 ways. $100 pot to the flop. And Mo is actually going to raise out of the blind. He makes it 50 more. 250 more, and wow. Trish is smooth called with pocket aces. She limped in first position under the gun with pocket aces, hoping for the raise. Mo is bet ace-king here. Trish smooth calls, and now Mo is betting blind. Oh, man. Once again, the action, it limped around. Trish limped in, hoping her son would probably raise on the button. He did not raise, but Mo raised out of the big blinds, then bet 500 blind, and now Trish is moving in. And Mo's got to hate his hand here, and he throws it away, and Trish takes it down. Mo really stepped in it there. You got to start thinking about it, obviously. When the under-the-gun player limps in, then you raise 250. The under-the-gun player calls your raise. Really got to raise your eyebrows that maybe she's in there with a big hand like aces or kings. I am really excited because I have been waiting for about a year to get this gentleman into the booth with me. Now, this is a guy that I've been talking about for quite a while, kind of a mentor of mine when I first started propping here at the bike, a guy that I looked up to. There's probably nobody in the entire casino that I respect more in terms of their play. Joe Wynn is with me in the booth. Now, we're not going to show a shot of him because he's shy, apparently. But how are you, Joe?
Wonderful.
Yeah?
So glad to be in here with you, and I appreciate all the compliment from you, but I don't think I deserve any of that.
Of course you don't. Now, Joe Wynn, if you want to check it out, go back to the 2000 World Series of Poker. Joe won his first bracelet then in the stud high-low event, right?
Yes. I got lucky, and I was drunk that day.
A couple of glasses of wine always help, huh?
Absolutely.
And Joe is one of those guys that whenever I ask you, what's your favorite game, you always give me the same line of,
I don't have a favorite game. I have a favorite lineup.
Right,
I
exactly.
play lineup. I play the players more than anything else.
Now, I know last night, actually, you were playing in a Mike actually flopped 2 pair, and he's going to take it down. Last night, I know you were playing in a no-limit game, and then suddenly a 20-40 mix game started up with Allen, Corporation Mike, and immediately you moved over to that game.
That's right.
Why?
Because they have not much experience in the mix, and it's more likely I can win in that game than in the no-limit game that I was in.
Right.
It's a tougher lineup I was dealing with. So my objective when I play card is to win, so I picked a lineup that I can win to play.
Okay. So, I mean, you don't really care about your ego. You're not looking to challenge yourself. You're looking to bring home the money.
That's right.
Okay. Good to know. Pocket Kings here for Boston. He's going to raise it up. He makes it $70. Mike's going to call with a pretty weak hand. He's got ace-7 offsuit. Mo is going to call here with 9-8 offsuit. Amir's in there with jack-6 suited. I mean, can you believe the garbage you're seeing, Joe?
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Wow.
Hello,
But look at
Amir.
this. Amir has flopped a flush. He also has a gut shot straight flush draw. He has flopped the nuts. Now, Boston has the king of diamonds, so Amir is not out of the woods yet. And a Mo has flopped bottom 2 pair. Oh, this
my
could be
goodness.
fireworks.
Oh,
Now,
my
Mike
goodness.
is going to get out of there real quick. You got a $200 bet from Boston, a call from Amir, and Mo is going to pop it up. He makes it $1,200. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
I knew this would blow your mind. I told you.
Wow.
Just want to get the action exactly right here. Boston bet $200. Amir smooth called, right? And Mo has now made it 1,000 more. And if you're Boston, I think it's time to get out of this hand, don't you?
Absolutely.
Pocket Kings with the King of Diamonds. I mean, you've got a you bet you got a call and now a raise to $1,000 more. You still have to worry about Amir behind you, right?
Right. But now the ego part comes in from you. Whether he's going to chase for his flush or not.
I mean, but at this point, do you even know if your flush is good? I mean, if you have 2 aces, let's say you have 2 red aces, well, then maybe you're in there because, okay, if I catch a diamond, at least I know I got the nuts. But in this case, I mean, how can you do it with the King of Diamonds in your hand?
I would fold.
Yeah, oh, I know you'd fold. It's one thing that's amazing about your play, your patience and your discipline. I don't think I've ever seen you tilt or steam or anything like that.
They all tilt. Just not a certain moment. It gets you to tilt. I would fall in this spot though.
That's wow, and Boston is going to move all in here.
His
And if-
ego. His
And if
ego
you're
got
a
his head
mirror,
out.
yeah, I always say, if you're playing this game, you got to leave your ego at the door.
Yeah.
And what do you do if you're a mirror now? I mean, you even like your hand?
Amir's going to call all in because he had no chip.
Of course, he's definitely going to call. But do you like it? I mean, you've got Jack-6 here, and look at this. What a gift! Okay, now Mo is going to need an 8 or a 9 to win this. Boston needs some sort of running full house or a diamond that is not a 10. The 10 of diamonds will give Amir the straight flush. And we can see the percentages there right to the cards. Amir is going to win this about 3 out of 5 times. Boston's going to win it 1 out of 4 times. And Mo is he's really, up a creek without a paddle. Boston is, he needs a diamond or some sort of running full house. And they're just trying to work it out here. Now, it's a $1,000 raise from Mo. Boston has moved in for, I believe, an extra $500. Amir has moved in for more money as well. Mo is not going to go anywhere. We're talking about, I want to say, about a $7,000 pot. I told you, people just giving their money away here. Unbelievable, isn't it?
You can't win the pot?
I could win the pot.
Okay, then I can win the pot too.
Are they making a deal
Yeah, they're talking about possibly running the turn in the river more than once.
for the side?
Yeah, normally you don't do it with 3 players, but you always can. Obviously, if the 3 players are consenting, they can do it. Once again, if you have any questions for Joe Wynn, now once again, we've had Joe lose, I like to call him, on the show numerous times. This is Joe Wynn, who's never been on the show. I've been trying to get him on the show for a long time. Joe Wynn. Oh, there it is. Look at that set of kings here. He needs the board to pair or a diamond. And it does not come. king and a 4 of hearts, and Amir is going to take the entire thing down with the flush.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Now, when the king of hearts comes on the turn, Mo is drawing dead. Mo cannot win the pot. So obviously, if an 8 or a 9 were to come, Boston would have a higher full house. But anyway, once again, Joe Wynn is probably the best poker player you've never heard of.
Unbelievable.
You've never heard of. I quantified it a little bit, okay? The best poker player you've never heard of. And if you have a question for him, go ahead and email us at live@thebike.com. Joe has been playing poker for over 20 years. And he's made a living on it. He's raised children. I mean, really phenomenal. You got a lot of people that, you got a lot of fly-by-night people. But, yeah. And how many children have you raised? I mean, obviously your own children, but any other children?
You too much.
And the emails are pouring in about everybody's worried. How do you know who submits the correct winner? There's no place for email address. Don't worry. We know. Technology, it's a wonderful thing. If I told you how we know, I'd be lying because I have no idea. But my technicians have told us we know. Now we get a raise from Amir. He's raised it to $100 with pocket tens. Hobb is going to call with kind of a speculative hand. He's in there with 7-8 of diamonds. Allen, of course, calling with a pretty weak king. And Mike going to call with pretty much any 2 cards there. So not a great flop for Amir, but he still has the best hand. Ace-6 deuce, rainbow. And if it folds around to Amir, you imagine he'll put some money in there as a little continuation bet. Mike thinking of how to play this. So now you primarily play in cash games, right?
Yes.
Very rarely play in tournaments. Once in a while we do play. I remember the mini-series of poker championship 2 years ago. You and I actually were at the final table together. That was a lot of fun for me.
Yes.
I know you came in 4th, I came in 3rd.
Yeah.
Why do you primarily play in cash games as opposed to tournaments?
I think tournament is a much harder thing to do because it requires a lot more luck than it's harder to control the tournament chance to win. You waste a lot of time, and you get real close to the payoff, and you get knocked out. It's really devastating feeling to get knocked out at the bubble. So I didn't want I don't want to be in that spot. So I try not to play tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually pointing out to a lot of our viewers, I said, obviously you've got to have a different mentality if you're playing tournaments, because obviously even the best tournament players are probably only going to cash, say, 1 out of 8 tournaments, 1 out of 7 tournaments.
Wow, that's large.
I mean, that's even, while you're playing, if you're a good cash game player, you can probably win, say, 3 out of 4 sessions or 2 out of 3 sessions at least. So you've got to have that mentality of knowing that you're probably going to lose this tournament.
I think if you're a cash game player and you win 6 out of 10 times you play, you'll be all right. As tournament, if you can win 10% of the amount of tournament you play, you'll be okay too.
Now Mo's
so hard.
Mo raises it up pre-flop with King 10 of diamonds in position. He takes it down pre-flop. Now I wanted to ask you one thing that was always kind of. I remember I read Barry Greenstein's book and I talked to him for a while about it.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people, when I first started playing, I had this problem where I would win probably even more than 6 out of 10 sessions. I was winning 8 out of 10 sessions. But on the 9th session, I lose everything that I won the first 8. How do I combat that? I mean, now I know I probably asked you, about 150 questions over the past 2 years about my poker game and how to improve and everything. Just for our viewers and stuff. I mean, how do you combat that? Where somebody, you win $60, you win $100, you win $100, and then when you finally lose, you lose it all.
That question goes under money management, chip management, as I put it, and I prefer to answer you that in private.
Let's see if it's one pot, one.
Because throughout the years, a regular poker player will prevail if he can control his chip, regardless of how many sessions he loses. So For, between us, I prefer to answer you that in private.
Okay. Mo's finally going to bite here. He's going to take it down with queens up here. Mike never felt like taking a shot at it. Playing the pair game, though. Apparently, Trisha's got kings and threes, I believe. So she gets paid. Once again, we're live at the bike. I'm David Tuckman, and I'm here with 2000 World Series of Poker bracelet winner Joe Wynn. Get an email here from Roger Ford. Okay, maybe then you can help us out here. Hey, Tuck, help me. Is there any situation where one can fold pocket kings before the flop? Roger Pappy Slap Ford. Well, Joe, can you help this guy out?
I would fold kings pre-flop. If the person that moved all in on me pre-flop, that has just about the same amount of chip as I do, and I played with this person a while, and he seemed very solid. And I only risked maybe no more than 15% of my chip at the time. I would fold two kings pre-flop because more than likely I can only tie with a man if I put all my chip in.
Now, Mike is bet here. He's got a gut shot straight draw plus the nut flush draw. He's got the ace of clubs in his hand. He needs a queen or an ace. And Mo is called with the queen of clubs. He's got the best hand right now with a pair of jacks. He doesn't want to catch a two-pair, though, obviously. Mo's about a 2-to-1 favorite there. You can see by the percentages. And Mike is going to persist. He's going to bet again and takes it down. We always point out, obviously, it's very difficult to lay down pocket kings ever pre-flop. But oftentimes, if you're playing against somebody who you know and you respect very much, and you raise, they re-raise you, and you start thinking about it, you go, well, they're not going to do this with queens. They probably don't have kings because I have kings. So the only other hand that's in their hand is aces.
I can tell you a scenario that has to do with two kings laying down pre-flop. We're playing no limit. Everyone's full. I'm in the big blind, and George right now in seat wonder.
Yeah.
He was in the small blind.
George Giorgio, okay.
Yeah. Another solid player was on the button. He made it like 100 pre-flop on the button. And George smooth call on a small blind.
Well, I'm going to jump into there. Speaking of the devil here, Mo's got kings. Mike has raised it up on the button with 8-7. Mike doesn't really need a hand to raise on the button, ever. And Mo is going to re-raise. He makes it 250 to go. And Mike's going to call. We're going to see it heads up. Pot's $500. Wow. Because they're tossing money around like it's candy. Well, there's a set of kings from Mo. How do you play this here? Well, he's going to bet it. He was the pre-flop raiser. I think you have to bet. Gets a little fishy if you don't bet it. Okay, so continue with that. I'm sorry. So there was a $100 raise. George Giorgio was in the small blinds.
He smooth call.
He smooth calls.
Come back to me. I raised it 4 more hundred. I made it 500. And Paul was the original raiser. He said he mucked. Later on, he told us he had two queens.
You're talking about Paul Davis, the professional poker player?
No, Paul Hickman.
Oh, different Paul, but very tight player.
Yeah. So George, when Paul folded, George raised me 12 more hundred, and I immediately moved in on George. And he thought about it for a long time. He showed two king, and he mucked it. Paul had two queens, George had two kings, and I showed him two aces. Is it at that moment there, just like George said, the best he can do is to tie with me.
Right, he's obviously playing the player. He knows that you're not making that move. You're not making a move. Right. He knows you got something big there, especially with those three players involved.
Yeah. So
We always talk about the value, obviously, of knowing your opponents.
Exactly.
Probably nothing more valuable than that information.
Yeah, and George didn't want to risk 5,000-6,000 just with the two kings.
Right.
So it goes into chip management. He manages chip well that day.
Mike's going to take that down. Now, Mike takes down a lot of pots. You know, those flops that miss everybody. Mike takes down a lot of that. What do you think about that? I know you don't really subscribe in that theory, but got a chip count coming up right here. We're going to hit this. Got $30,000 on the table. Amir's got the table covered at $5,500. Mike with $5,200. Boston only has $300. Wow. Playing the short stack thing there. let's see how they're doing. And right now, Jack is our big winner. He's up $3,100. Hav is up $2,000. Amir up $500. Remember, he lost a lot of money when he called off. He called Mo off with just third pair. Mo is our big loser so far, down $4,400. We've got a great promotion going on right now. All you've got to do, on our website, we have a little button. You press pick the winner. Whoever picks the biggest winner tonight and then picks how much they've won, and whoever's closest gets $500 cash.
Wow.
No strings attached.
Who is Jack at this table?
Jack is on seat number 3.
Oh.
There he is. Jack Zarinian.
That is, I know the guy.
Well, he plays in the 5-10 game once in a while.
Yes.
Now, this is interesting here. George's bet here. Now, he has a gut shot straight flush draw with the 8-4 diamonds. If the 5 of diamonds were to come, he has a straight flush. And he bet his draw. Trish called him with a hand as weak as 7-4, top pair. And amazingly, George has missed this. He had 12 outs to the win. He could have caught a 5. Actually, more than that. He could have caught a 5, a diamond, or an 8. Didn't catch any of them. And Trish is going to win. Trish said, I thought you had a flush draw. Now, the thing you wonder is if George fires again on the turn, puts some heat on her, how much pressure can she take with just a pair of 7s and a 4 kicker?
She might fall.
I really have a lot of respect for Trish's game.
Yes, I do too.
She's a solid player.
Yes.
It's funny, you wouldn't think that Mike and Trish are even related. I mean, it's amazing. Now, you always say you love Mike in the game.
Yes.
Why do you love Mike in the game?
To create action. And many times you can have a hand, and Mike will do the work for you. You know.
Now, are you looking to necessarily mix it up with Mike?
Yes.
And what about the rest of the table, though? You like the action that it creates the rest of the table as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can flop a set, even the middle set, and Mike flop a pair. Not necessarily having a top pair. Mike be doing the betting, and other players, you can read if the other players are on the draw, and you can benefit from Mike's work for you.
Now, Mo's raised it up here with pocket 3s and the cutoff seat. He probably raised it up that late to see if he can buy himself the button. It didn't work because Trish called with Jack 10. Mo has flopped the set, though. He doesn't really care. Now, George has flopped a flush draw. And he's going to check and call probably here. Mo is going to bet. He bets 120. And what is George going to do? George is moving all in. Oh, my. He is moving all in with the flush draw. And Mo is going to easily call. I mean, this game's been insane tonight. Absolutely insane. We've only got about 40 minutes into it, and we have seen, I'd say 5 or 6 big pots. And Mo is going to call with bottom set, and George is in trouble here. He's a 3-1 dog. He needs to catch a heart, and the board can't pair. So right now he has 8 outs. Well, he hits his flush right away. And the 6 there, he is going to win this. Wow, George takes it down with the flush. They decide not to run it more than once. Oftentimes these players will run the turn and river more than once. They decide not to. And George takes it down. I know you do not run the turn and river more than once. Why is that?
Because I would like to leave my faith in gambling when I put all my money in a pot. Most of the time when I do that, I probably, more than likely, I have the best hand. And I'll take a chance with the best hand.
Okay, I got you. You don't want to give anybody an out. You don't want to let them off the hook. If they're gambling.
Yeah, because that's my objective is to beat him. Why would I want to give him a second chance to escape?
Right, I got
so
you.
to speak.
Now, I have to ask you a question. I'm going to put you on the spot.
All right.
Okay? Corporation Mike, over the last 6 months, Corporation Mike has probably been the most successful player on our show. He's won a lot of money from some weak players, I got to say.
Okay.
Can somebody play like him, though, and be a long-term winner?
I think so.
You think so? Okay. I mean, but you're saying that you like him in the game, and you even like playing against him.
I do.
Yet you think he can be a long-term winner. I mean, how? I mean, it seems almost hypocritical.
No, it's not. He can beat everybody else.
Okay, just not you. Ace Jack 4 flop here. Jack has got top pair. Now, Jack is really a passive player. He's also picked up the nut flush draw here. He's got top pair, top kicker with the nut flush draw, and he checks it around. He just doesn't build himself a pot. 10 comes on the river.
One pair.
And Jack is going to win this. And watch when he turns it over. I mean, people are just going to be like, wow. I mean,
Nice play.
unbelievable. Yeah, I mean.
Just go ahead and bet your hand whatever you want. I'm not going to bet for you every time, man.
Now, it's funny, earlier on, Jack actually had ace-king of hearts against Mo's pocket aces. He hit the flush on the turn. Never bet. Until the river, he checked it. Mo bet big when he hit a set of aces. The case ace fell in the river. Mo bet. He then moved all in, finally. And Mo felt like he had to call with a set of aces.
Wow.
Although at that point, you almost know you know your opponent can't be bluffing
Right.
at that point. Now, we had an interesting last night. We had an interesting game last night. 20-40 mix. We were playing BOT.
Right.
Padugi, Omaha, 8 or better, and deuce to 7, triple draw. I made a couple of great hands. I made, 2-5 Padugis?
Right.
I mean, which is
2-5 and a 6 within 40 minutes.
like what? I mean, that's like making
huge, yeah.
3 full houses. I mean,
Yeah.
in a hold'em game.
Right.
Mike flops top and bottom. Actually, I'm sorry. Mike flops top pair. George has got top and bottom. Let's see what happens here. Mike bets 80. George makes 300.
King 5 is no good?
And Mike says it. King 5, no good.
Show me
George says no, it's not.
home king 5, and I'll let you take it back. Take it back.
He shows him King 5 and he takes it back.
That's all right.
Wow. This is where I like about Mike's game. You know when he's beat.
Yeah. It's the one part of Mike's game that he's actually gotten really good at reading other players.
He's
And he
so
knows
good.
how to get away from players, by getting away from hands that are somewhat second best.
I can tell you a scenario I had with Mike once. He raised pre-flop and only 60. So I'm on a button with 7-8 a diamond. I call to see the flop. Flop 2 8s and a king. Mike bet 200 on the flop. I call. Everyone's full. Turn a queen. He bets 400, and he tells me ace king is no good. I was thinking of how much to raise them, so I told him, and everyone got into a conversation with him, and I said, I'm just going to raise you. I raised the $800 more. He turned over king queen, and he said, you either have the 9-8 suited or you have 2 aces. So how does he fold a hand like that?
I mean, I guess he knew
He
he had
just
there.
knew.
Yeah, he just knew he was beat.
You know,
Well, some of the best players, they know that. And look at this. Amir's bet with 2 pair. I mean, Amir's bet with top 2. Mike is on a pure move here. He's got top pair, jack deuce. I mean, he can really beat nothing. Now, he can beat, say, a flush draw or straight draw. If he thinks Amir is betting with a 10, if he thinks Amir is betting a flush draw, he can beat that. But that's about it. Now, Amir's not going to mess around. And look at that. Mike kind of puts a little tester raise out there, figures out that he's beaten, he throws it away.
yeah.
I like the play by Amir. I don't want to mess around with a board like that either.
I like him much play. Mike's play much better because
Yeah.
he saved money by doing what he did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently right now, but we still have about an hour and 40 minutes left in our promotion, Jive Dadson, of all people, is in the lead for our $500 promotion. Now, we're all laughing about that, and you don't. Jive Dadson has kind of been the our biggest critic for the past year and a half, but we always love him. You know, it's kind of a love-hate relationship. I find it very humorous, but you know what? It's a long way to go. Well, isn't Jack the big winner right now? How did anybody pick Jack? Jack's never been on the show before. I mean, he's been on the show like twice. That's unbelievable. That's amazing. 10-5-4, all hearts here. 6 on the turn. And Mike is going to bet here. Now, Mike has got the 7 of hearts, so he's open-ended with the heart. Amir's going to call him with a pair of 4s with 2 diamonds in his hand. The river's an ace. Both players miss, and Amir is good here with a pair of 4s. But can Amir call this? I mean, what always amazes me about Amir's game is you watch that. Okay, on the turn, the board is 6-5-4-10, 3 hearts. You're calling with the ass end of a flush draw with 2 diamonds in your hand with 3 hearts out there. What do you want to hit? What are you looking to hit? A deuce? A black deuce?
He probably put Mike on a bluff.
Right. So if you put
and
Mike on a bluff,
he's
though,
hoping Mike checked on the river.
right? But I mean, let's think of this logically. If Mike is bluffing, he's certainly going to bet again because he has to. He's bluffing. which means you're going to have to call another bet. Now, if Mike's got a pair, he might check it down, but in that case, you're beat because you've got bottom pair.
Right.
It's kind of a lose-lose situation, isn't it?
Exactly.
Especially if you're going to especially if you're going to call the turn and then throw it away.
Right.
If you think Mike is bluffing, would you ever raise him there in the turn?
Absolutely.
Might that be a play instead?
Yeah.
Now, you play any game.
Most of them, yes.
I mean, is there a poker game you won't play?
I couldn't think of one, no.
No.
Because
Is there a game that you're... Now, obviously, you always look for the lineup. You're looking for the weakest lineup. You're looking for a place where you can make money.
right.
But is there a game that's your strongest game?
I don't think of any game that I can consider myself a strongest game, but the game that I play the most and I feel at ease the most would be a high-low split game.
High-low
stud.
split. High-low stud?
Yes.
How about Omaha as well?
Yeah,
Okay. You like those split games?
yeah. Because most split game are more complex, and it requires quick thinking a little more than the other game.
Right.
And it confuses people sometimes.
I was going to say, I mean, a lot of times split games, people, they kind of look at it and they go, well, I don't have a great high hand, I don't have a great low hand, but maybe I'll go one way or the other. Who knows?
Exactly.
And you can kind of exploit their mistakes.
That's where
more.
you can exploit, right.
Okay. I got you. Now, Mike's going to raise it up. Surprise, surprise. He makes it $80 to go with 10-8 suited. Amir is going to call. Now, this is the problem. I always see people are calling in with really marginal hands. And you got to remember, Mike gets big hands as much as anybody else gets big hands.
Absolutely.
So this could be the time that Mike had ace-king or king-queen. And if a
Right.
king falls, are you going to go broke?
Hello.
Now, this is an interesting flop here. Now, Mike's got top pair with a gut shot straight draw. If a 9 comes, he's got the straight. But George has flopped bottom 2 pair, and he's going to bet $400 right into the pot. The pot's about $400, so he's betting the pot. The pot is now $800, $400 to call, and it's over to Mike. Now, you know what? I'm not sure if Mike likes that flop that much, though. Top pair, yeah, he's got a gut shot, but there's 2 spades out there. Is that really the flop you're looking for with 10-8 suited?
No, not that.
But he's going to call.
But Mike likes to gamble.
He's a gambler. He can catch a 10 and 8, not a deuce.
Now
Deuce
Mike,
does nothing.
There's a time for Mike to make a move now.
Yeah, Mike likes to represent that, but he's going to check it down. And the river's a 3 of hearts, and it changes nothing. And this is going to check down, and George is going to take it with 2 pair.
What are they all start with this game?
Well, it's a minimum buy-in of $1,000, but they can buy in for as much as they want. The starting amounts were right there. George started with $2,500, Alan $1,500, Mike $5,000. Most players around $2,500 though.
I see.
Button moves over to seat number 9. That's Trish. Okay, so I've got to ask you, we've got a lot of players at home, a lot of people watching the show that are, they're poker players. They're playing online and stuff. What is if there's one piece of advice that you could give a beginning poker player who wants to aspire to be a professional poker player, what would be your advice? Besides, don't do it.
That's what
I knew that was coming out.
That's what I said. It's the toughest way to make an easy living, so I don't recommend anyone at all.
Okay, but what if somebody just loves it so much they can't stop? It's a bug. They can't stop. They have to play it. It's their life. Well, then what's your advice?
We all can stop.
Trish has got jacks here, and she's going to take it down. Mike's got absolutely nothing.
My true opinion is I have enough competition as it is. I don't want any more.
Okay. Now, I told you, it was literally pulling teeth to get Joe Wynn on the show. He's one of those, he's a professional poker player. He won't play on this show because you don't want to show your cards.
Absolutely.
You don't want to show your secrets.
I don't have much to show. What is that?
Oh, here we go. We got a question for you here. Here we go. Okay. Question from Eric Wardenberg. He says, question for Joe. Joe, how did you get into poker, and what is your greatest experience over your last 20 years of playing?
I got into poker by accident. I started to play all the pit games and the Asian games. And one day, I saw a bunch of professionals were playing low ball. This is years ago. We only had low ball in California. and they're all professional people. They doctors, attorneys, and engineers. They play on their pastime, but they play methodically. They play very well, and I just tried it out in a small limit, and they point things out to me that I realize that a professional can do this. So I took some time off. I tried to do this 4 to 6 hours a day, pretend it was a job, and see how much I can make out of it. And it seems to work.
Now look at this. Now Jack playing it so passively. He had top pair the whole way, picked up a flush draw, but he lets Mike get runner 2 pair by playing it so passively. He let him get there.
So after the first few times, I realized that there is a way to make money doing this if you have enough discipline and if you have a system for yourself. So I locked myself in the room for almost 2 weeks with a deck of cards, and I wrote my own little program of how to play certain games. At that time, it was Hold'em first introduced to California. I think it was 1986. And it seems to work for me ever since.
Right. Discipline being so important, obviously.
Totally.
I always talk about it. You can have the best game plan in the world, but if you don't have the discipline to stick to your game plan, who cares?
Right.
So what is and your greatest experience of the last 20 years?
Is to accidentally win World Series bracelet.
That must be phenomenal.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, something that I aspire to. I'm not a big tournament player. I primarily play cash games as well, but I mean, I think most poker players kind of aspire and dream to win one of those World Series of Poker bracelets.
I tell you the truth, the day I won it, I never was concerned about the bracelet. My main concern was to win the prize pool of over $100,000. It was $129,000 that payoff. But it takes like a month later, when it started to sink in, I realized I have a lot of peers in the same business that never won one. And it's a treasure to have that bracelet. I keep thinking back about it, even though I was half drunk that day. I really enjoy that accomplishment.
We got one more question here for you, and then I know I got to send you back out there to make a living.
You got it.
Here we go. Okay. Brandon Glass, question for Joe Wynn. Joe, it's nice to have you on the show. I'm curious as to how you would rate Dave's play as a professional poker player. This is probably my wife. Is he as good as he thinks he is, or not? What are some of his strengths, and what do you think are some of his biggest weaknesses? Enjoy the show, and hope to see you again on future episodes. Regards, Brandon Glass. You know, that's a great question, because I'm curious myself.
My opinion, David is a hell of a poker player. And is one of the few young players that I think will be successful doing this for a living. David give me a lot of competition when we play in the same game. I'm always cautious when we get involved in the same hand, so he is one of my competitors. And with the young age that he is, I wish he win the World Series of Poker someday. I would have taken a piece of him when he played a tournament, as a matter of fact.
Thanks a lot, Joe. I appreciate it. Well, once again, we got Trish here. Trish has got top pair. She's going to take it down. Mike was just messing around. Trish never stands for that with her son. The one person at this table that Mike can intimidate is Trish. It's great. Well, Joe Wynn, the best poker player you've never heard of. Okay? You want to come down to the Bicycle Casino, I will introduce him to you. You can meet him. I'll point him out to you. He's usually the one yelling at the dealer. Great guy. Great poker player. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate my time here with you.
Now, Joe Wynn, I've got a lot of respect for him. This is a gentleman that when I first started propping and I sat down in a stud high-low game, I really had no clue what I was doing. You know, I'm sitting there basically sticking my thumb up my ass. And Joe Wynn kind of took me aside, and we went for walks. We'd talk about poker. We'd talk about strategy. And this is a gentleman that had 25 years and countless thousands of hours of experience playing the game as a professional. I can't tell you how important it was to me to find a mentor. If there's some way you are playing and you don't have a friend or you don't have a mentor, go look for somebody that you can talk to about poker. So it really, really is a help. And I'm going to try to get back to the game here. We're going to get a setup going right now, I think. Thank you for the emails. Do appreciate it. Apologize for not showing Joe Wynn's face there, but it was the only way he'd be on the show.
On the other side, he's got the 10 of clubs.
I understand, but anytime I take that long backhand, anytime it
Nice email here from Riley G. Matthews who says, hey, Tuck, wish you well in the World Series of Poker events. I'll be missing this year's main event as I'll be flying back and forth to New York City on bar, nightclub, and film business. All the best. Well, all the best to you, Riley. Hope it goes well. Once again, we're live at the bike. I'm David Tuckman. The professional poker player Joe Wynn was joining me for the last half hour. We are playing No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 10 and 20 tonight. Got about $33,000 on the table. Kind of an exciting promotion we have going on tonight. The voting is already closed, but we had our Pick a Winner poll tonight. All you have to do is pick the person who you think is going to win the most money tonight and how much they're going to win, and you get $500 in cold, hard cash. No strings attached. We're just crazy. We're just giving money away. Got our own mini-series of poker going on while the World Series of Poker is going on. Today's tournament was actually a $100 rebuy tournament. And what is going on at the World Series? Let's see. World Series today was a No Limit Hold'em $2,500 event, while tomorrow is a No Limit Hold'em with rebuys. We're actually 1 day behind. Jack's got aces. And Boston's moving all in for $260. Well, that's a nice gift. Jack's going to easily call this. And unless Boston gets real lucky, he is going to be felted. Well, that's not a good start. He needs running kings or running queens or running king-queen because diamonds aren't even good. He is drawing dead. Well, he can catch an 8 to chop it. An 8 would have chopped it up there, but Jack's going to take it with pocket aces. Just not Boston's night. I think he really, really overplayed those kings. I think he'll know that too. Especially when you've got a mere smooth calling you behind 3 diamonds out there. Just pick a better spot, you know. And apparently we are going to go from one professional poker player to another. Another player I have a lot of respect for. We're going to get Paul Davis in the booth. How you doing, Paul?
Pretty good, David.
Good to see you. Paul Davis. We just had Joe Wynn in the booth.
Awesome.
Professional poker for the last 25 years, and now we've got you. How long have you been playing?
For too long.
Too long. Way too long. Well, I've been actually. This is another gentleman that I've been trying to get into this booth for quite some time, and you've been a little hesitant to get in here. I guess giving away some of your secrets. So.
Well, I'm probably just going to be conservative and say what a donkey all these guys are, and
and how you should be in the game.
Yeah, how
right,
it should
exactly.
be in the game.
Well, let's get to the game here. Well, this is our setup here. We get the hands over there. This is what our viewers see. 280. We get some emails here.
Cool. Wow.
Now, Paul, you also primarily focus on cash games. You stay away from the tournaments too much. Why is that?
Oh, why? Because tournaments.
Oh, wow, look at this hand here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Trish has got top pair. Alan's got aces. But whenever Alan shows strength, he usually has more than just one pair, doesn't he?
Uh-huh. He's going to show some strength here.
Yeah, and he bets. He's going to make it 600 to go. And Trish is really thinking about this. You know, I mean, she can't beat much. Would Alan make this move with, say, Queen Jack? I mean, that's all she can beat, really, right?
Yeah, Mike's been trying to get her to play more aggressively, so it'll be interesting what she does here.
Wow, and she's going to call Alan here, and she needs a king or a queen, and that's it. And it's not going to come. The 6 on the river changes nothing. And if you're Alan, I got to put in a nice value bet here. And Alan moves all in for how much? What looks like about $700, actually $740 more. And at this point, the pot is about $2,400. Can Trish get away from it?
No.
I mean, she's getting almost 3.5 to 1 on her money.
Yeah, I can't see how she figured the turn was good.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to get away from the hand, she calls here, and Alan's going to win himself a nice pot here, almost a $3,000 pot. And I guess if you're going to throw that away, the time to throw it away was on the turn.
Yeah. I didn't watch the hand from the beginning, but it's tough to throw a top pair away against Allen sometimes.
Yeah, it can be. Although it's funny, we were talking about the 2040 mixed game that Joe win, and you jumped in that game as well. You're another one of those players. Obviously, you're always looking for the best game, no matter what they're playing.
True. Well, I play them all, so.
Yeah, it was funny actually. We were playing in the Omaha section, and Allen bluffed me out with what he thought was a monster. And then he turned it over proudly, thinking, "Okay, look at my hands." He had like third nut low draw, and like a top pair, and that was it.
Yeah, all I know is since he turned his hand over, I knew you had him beat both ways.
I was just laughing. Of course, I put him on like trips. I thought he had a monster.
Yeah, you didn't even hesitate folding.
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, I had a pair of aces with ace deuce in the hole. But I was like, okay, I can't beat trip threes. And I'm drawing it at the pot. Okay, I'll throw it away.
What do we get now? Mike?
And we're going to see this heads up here. Now, Mo raised it. Mike actually raised and Mo called. Sorry, Mike raised it with pocket eights in the cutoff seat. Mo called it with 4-6. Caught a little piece of it. Checks it. Mike's going to bet $200 into a $200 pot. Pot's $400, $200 to call.
That's why Mike's very tough to play against. 'Cause
Yeah.
you hit a piece of the flop, and Mike could have anything.
I mean, one of the things, like when I'm playing Mike, I mean, I really want to make sure that I'm in position against him.
Yeah.
Because he is tough to play against.
All right.
Now, I asked Joe the same question. I want to ask you, put you on the spot here. Corporation Mike has really been killing the game for the last, say, 6 months. At least this game here. It's a kind of a weaker lineup, I think, at the bike. Can his style, can he succeed in the long haul? I mean, can he play this way and win for 20 years?
I
mean, because he's such a loose cannon.
If he keeps playing here, where he dominates the other players bankroll-wise and so forth, he's always going to be in decent shape in these lineups. If he steps over to the best players who play the same style as Mike, Mike's got a lot of talent, don't get me wrong. He has tremendous talent and a tremendous desire to win, so I think he's going to actually improve as a player. I don't think he's going to stay the same. And I don't think he can succeed against the top players who play the same way he does.
At this level.
Yeah, they're guys like Gabe Thaler and Bobby Hoff and these guys. They play a bit bigger than this, but they play the similar style, and they have no tilt factor, which Mike, by his own admission, does.
Now, funny, Amir actually bet with pocket sevens in position. George throws away top pair. He had queen jack with no heart. But Boston calls him with the ace of hearts. And Boston's played it real passively, and Amir's going to win this with sevens and fours. King kicker.
Yeah, it's kind of a...
Amir betting gets rid of the best hand, actually, and, Boston with the draw calls him the whole way. That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Now, I was about to ask you, I was asking you, why do you primarily play cash games as opposed to tournaments?
Oh, I thought I got away with that answering that one.
I was curious. Because obviously the whole rage, right, I mean, in this day and age is tournaments.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, if, these games to a professional player have $1 per hour value, basically. And if you evaluate the $1 per hour of a game like this against sitting in a tournament, this has a higher $1 per hour than a tournament does. It's really that simple. So now playing a tournament like a major World Series event or a WPT event or something that can be life-changing, that's a different thing. I do try and play those off and on.
Right.
And I'm really just like any other tournament guy, hoping to catch a miracle.
Get lucky.
But these games are essentially steady money if you're a winning player. If you're not a winning player, well, then you lose money either way.
It doesn't make a difference. So. Mike has raised it up in late position with King Jack. Allen calls with the ace-5. He's hit a little piece of it, and Hobbs called as well. Allen's going to bet here. Now, if Allen bets a flop, I mean, how often does he not have an ace here? Now, Mike is called. I don't think Mike is called thinking Allen's bluffing, but I think Mike's called seeing if he can hit a queen, maybe he can break Allen.
Or if you can maybe bluff Allen off
right.
the hand.
Yeah, exactly.
He persistently tries to do that to Allen.
It's funny, too. I mean, that's, I always kind of like to put players in a category like, oh, wow, and there's the queen. Look at it. He hits the queen. He hits the miracle gut shot on the river. Allen is going to check his weak ace. Now it's time to value bet for Mike. And he bets $400, and I don't know if Allen's going to go anywhere. I was going to say, I always like to put players in categories, players that I don't really want to bluff that I'm going to be betting for value, and then players that I can bluff out. Allen's one of those value guys.
Absolutely.
And, Allen is going to call there, and Mike takes down about a $1,200 pot. And that's sometimes the problem with a weak ace. You can't play it strong. You end up giving your opponent free cards, and then when he gets there, you still pay him off.
Right. What Allen should do is once he bets, making the initial bet's fine. But as soon as it's called, he essentially should just shut down and fold the hand,
Right.
or else he should follow it up with a strong bet.
Right. If you're going
But
to
if
end
you-
up paying on the river, well, in that case, you want to be betting it. Be the
Yeah.
better, be the aggressor the whole way,
Right.
or just give it up.
Yeah, well, the best play, honestly, with a hand that weak is give it up because,
Well, yeah, don't call the raise in the first place.
yeah, even in this, he did have Mike beat, but that's
Right. Yeah.
usually you're not going to have the winning hand.
Not in a full ring game, ace-5 offsuit. It's not a hand you're looking to play. So I guess I understand what you're saying there. So it really comes down to a monetary thing where you're looking at my time is worth so much money, and I can make more in this game than I can in a normal tournament.
Yeah, well, in a normal tournament, you have to play for many, many hours, and you have to finish in the top 3 for it to be worth anything to you.
Yeah.
And that's very, very difficult to do. Yeah. Doesn't matter how well you play. You need immense luck.
Get a chip count here. 31,000 on the table. Amir's got the table covered. Jack's at $5,000. Boston is rebought. He's up there at $1,200. Let's see how they're doing. Jack's our big winner, still up $3,300. So anybody who has voted for Jack, I'm assuming the majority of our viewers have voted for Mike.
I would have voted for Mike.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I will.
But Jack is our big winner right now. He's up $3,300, but we still have an hour and 15 minutes left in the promotion.
Yeah, what do we say, Mike and Amir?
Yeah, well, somebody said Amir. I said
Yeah.
Mike or maybe Trish or even Hav. You never know. Apparently, Jive Dadson is still our big winner. Doesn't mean much to you. Jive Dadson's actually one of our biggest critics of the show.
Okay.
Kind of a love-hate relationship we have going with him.
Cool.
2 hearts out there. Now, Hav is flush draw. He's got overcards and the flush draw. Mike has now got the ace, though, and it's check, check. River's a queen, and Mike's going to take this down. These guys not playing hard against each other at all. Now, do you like a game with Mike in it?
That's a tough question. Truthfully, I like it because he puts other people off their game.
Okay.
He unsettles everybody. I don't really relish or look. I mean, he's unsettling to me. I have to adjust my game.
Right.
And sometimes I'm wrong in how I adjust it. So,
I mean, it forces you, obviously, some plays that you might like to make occasionally. It forces you to kind of change your game because Mike is always in there kind of splashing around chips.
And part of the problem for me is that Mike actually likes to try and outplay me.
Right. Well,
He's flat out told
it's
me.
an ego thing.
Yeah.
It's a challenge for him. He respects your game, and he wants to see if he can outplay you.
And I prefer just to not be noticed at the table and play my game instead of having a guy focusing on outplaying me.
Right.
As a whole dimension that I.
Like most professional cash game players, most of them really want to be anonymous.
Right. Yeah. But,
Trip aces here for Boston. Now, Allen's got a pair of jacks. Not really the hand you want to go to war with, but you never know with Allen.
that's true.
Boston is going to bet it right out, and I like the bet. I really do. You want to see where you're at. You got to realize if you take any heat with this hand, you don't have much of a kicker.
It's the only reason that Allen folded is this deuce kicker.
Right. Allen actually showed it like it was a big laydown. I thought you'd take it. So this is what I do every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 p.m.
Wow.
I see all the cards, and we talk about it. And sometimes it is absolutely baffling.
Yeah, I can believe it. They seem to be playing fairly conservatively right now.
Right now, the game was actually kind of crazy the first hour of the show.
Yeah.
Mo was really splashing around with some hands. He's down about 4,500 already for the night.
Wow.
And this game is not actually playing as big as some other 10, 20 games play when we have, say, Jason Katsutani and Ed in the game and players like that. So you will be going to the World Series at some point?
Yeah.
Playing in a couple of the bigger events, maybe?
I'll play the 10,000 one and maybe one or two others.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pocket queens here for Jack, and he limps around. He just limps. Does not raise. 10, 10, 9 flop. Couple of clubs out there. And Mike's going to bet here. He's got a pair of nines. Probably thinks he's got the best hand, and Jack's going to call. Now, the problem with playing against a guy like Jack is, I mean, I like playing against a guy like Jack, but the problem is he could smooth call you with a 10 here and never put any more chips in the pot.
Sure.
I mean, how do you play against a guy like that?
Once he puts chips in the pot, you put the brakes on.
Yeah, you just assume he's got it, and you just go, okay, forget it, I'm done.
Yeah. I would never be betting bottom pair at him.
Right, right. I mean, it's okay to fire once because you know he's going to lay it down if he's got nothing, but...
Once he calls you, he's not on a draw.
And Mike's finally going to give up here, and Jack's going to take it down with queens up. And you know what? At this table, it's not a terrible strategy.
No.
Because he's now gotten paid off 4 or 5 times already.
That's one of the correct ways to play Mike, is to just gear down and
Let
him fire.
Yeah, Joe Wynn was saying he loves Mike in the game because he creates so much action for you that you don't need to actually create your own action.
Right.
If you flop a set or you flop a big hand, you don't have to worry about how am I going to build this pot up because Mike's going to do it for you.
Yeah, he actually alters the cash game considerably from what a normal cash game is.
Right.
You usually have to try and work strategy on how to, get other players to gamble with you. Here, you're actually trying to keep pots smaller because you get to a certain size, you got to throw it away.
Right. We talk about the strategy of a lot of players. Oftentimes, Mike is always looking to play the biggest pot he can. Well, a lot of professional poker players and other players, when they only have top pair with the kick, even top pair, top kicker, one pair, they're looking to play smaller pots.
Right.
You don't want to put all your money in there with just like in this case, ace king. Now Trisha's got kings here. She put a small raise in there. Got 3 callers actually. Now Jack has flopped a set of 7s. And I got to tell you, if you're Trish, you're lucky the ace came out. You really don't have to put any more money in this at all. Trish checks, and Jack's going to bet, and you can easily throw away kings here.
Boy, Jack's on fire. You might never get rid of him when you're live.
He's on fire. Well, you know what? He's a real exciting guy.
Yeah, I used to play 40 Hold'em with him a long time ago. He's actually been around a while. He's just reappeared here in the No Limit.
Mr. Excitement, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same way back then. But,
hey, if you have any questions for Paul, send them in. Email us at live@thebike.com. Send them any questions. If you have questions about what being a professional poker player is like.
Hard way to make easy living.
We've heard that already tonight.
That's the truth.
Well, it's funny, the first time I actually really, I remember seeing you around. I was propping here for a while. And I remember seeing you down at the World Series, 2004 World Series, and it was still at Binion's.
Yeah.
And I remember you telling me, you go, get out of this life, kid. You don't want to do this. Get out of this life. I remember you said that to me. It was the words I remember.
Oh, well. Looks like you took my advice. Huh?
Yeah. Amir with top pair here. He's not going to bet it, though. He has now picked up an open-ended straight draw with his top pair. Now, George has actually got the top end of the open-ended straight draw, the pair of 9s. His set is no good now. He needs a 6 or a 10 to win this pot, though. And you can see that Amir is he's in control of the pot. Now, Mo has actually got a flush draw with the pair of 7s, so he can catch a king, a 7, or a heart to win this pot. Boston's got nothing. We're going to see this. Mike's in there with... Mike has just got the open-ended straight draw. Nothing else going for him. The river's the 5, and Mike and Amir both make the straight.
No.
And Amir's going to bet it.
No, it didn't make it straight, did it? The board paired.
Oh, it did pair. You're right. I'm sorry. Thank you. And is George going to pay him off with the 9s? And Amir wins himself a big pot. Thank you.
Sure.
For some reason, for a second there, I thought it was 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm looking at the next one. I'm going, oh, that's clearly a straight, but it's not. Once again, our show is live, unedited, unscripted. Once in a while, even I screw up. Thank you for straightening me out there.
I told you to get out of this business.
I know, it's terrible. Amir wins it there with 2 pair, queens up. Jeez. This will be my last day. Don't worry, everybody.
It's a power play. I'm moving in to take
Yeah,
it.
it's going to be Bart and Paul on Monday, by the way.
no.
I'm taking next week off.
Yeah.
Buttons in seat 7, that's Amir. Small blind, $10. Big blind's $20. George is under the gun. He's first act. So, I'm going to put you on the spot again. When you sit down at a poker table in a cash game, What's the first thing you do? I mean, what's the first thing you're thinking about? The first thing you do?
Is this after I sacrifice to the appropriate poker guards?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. The first thing I do is I study the players in the game before I sit down and decide whether I do want to sit down or not. And I look, particularly in No Limit, I look at how much money's on the table to see, one, whether it's worth playing, and two, if the money's in the right spots, and three, how much I want to buy in for. You also have to look at where your seat's going to be. Say if Mike's in the game and you're to his right, you don't necessarily want to match his buy-in. Whereas if you're to his left and you're comfortable with it, you might want to put a lot of money up.
Power position, obviously, being very important.
Yeah.
Mike's going to continue betting here, and Amir's got top pair. He actually not top pair anymore, but he had the King 10 on the flop. And Mike is going to keep firing at it. Wow, $2,000. The pot is about $1,500. The pot is now $3,500, $2,000 to call. Mike is on a stone cold bluff. He has ace high, and I don't know if Amir's going to go anywhere.
That's a tough call.
Really is a tough call. I just know Amir. I don't know if Amir goes anywhere. Amir's another one of those players where I'm not really looking to make moves against him, am I?
Yeah, I don't know. I was sorry, I was silent observing because there's something I think I know about Mike, and I was trying to see if it was right. I'm not going to say it on TV, but
that's what we're paying the big bucks for, Paul.
Yeah. As soon as that check clears in the bank, I'll tell you exactly what I was watching. Yes. See, now for me, if I didn't have a very specific tell on Mike at this point, I would just get away from the hand
pick
and
Mike
let Mike bluff me and pick a better spot.
Right.
Because
you got to realize that Mike could be in there with anything. He could easily have two pair.
Absolutely. There are other times and places.
Wow, and Amir is going to throw it away. And is Mike going to show the bluff? I think Mike's going to show the bluff.
He likes to.
He loves to show his bluffs. No, he doesn't show it.
It's funny to me that he doesn't show it on this show when the players are going to find out, but he does show it in the cash game continuously.
The funniest thing is he does often show it. Yeah. Bart always likes to point out, he goes, listen, since he always shows his bluffs, or more often than not he shows his bluffs, if you can somehow kind of go backwards and reconstruct the hand, you can kind of figure out if there is a tell there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you can play it backwards.
Well, I've been successful in something with him, but last time I got involved in a big pot with him, it was a misread. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what?
He either switched it up on me, or it was never a tell in the first place. But
he puts
it was there this time. So.
He's smart enough to sometimes put in a false tell there. Ace King suited here for Amir. Limped around. This was amazing. Jack did not raise, and Amir didn't raise. And this was an unraised pot 6 ways. Flop comes up 4-4-3. It misses everybody, but Jack is going to put money in the pot. And I got to tell you, if Jack's putting money in the pot, I'm out of there. Unless I have a 4. I mean, then I got to have a big 4.
Yeah.
And Jack's going to take it down. Nobody's going to get involved with him.
He's catching some hands.
Yeah.
I've seen him sit there like a statue for 90 minutes. Never put anything but the blinds in the play.
Well, we always talk about, I mean, the great thing about No Limit Hold'em is you don't have to win that many pots to be a big winner.
Right.
You can win 2 hands a whole night and be, you know.
Yeah, if you just win big pots.
Right. So once again, if you have any questions for Paul, feel free to send them in.
If you have any questions for Joe Wynn, send them in and I'll get them to Joe. That's much
there you go.
He gives more amusing answers anyhow.
We got a question here from Michael. It says, hey, what happened to Bart and Shirley yesterday in the Omaha tournament? Did either of them finish in the money? No, neither one of them did. And he still wants to know, did Phil win the Hold'em event? No, Phil Hellmuth actually came in second place yesterday.
Yeah, well, the guy who beat him was a young guy who plays regularly in the LA area. I won't say where he plays because of where I'm on air.
People will be rushing out there to get him?
No.
Hav raises it up with pocket aces. Hav's got gets a lot of respect in this game. People don't really try to mix it up with him too much. Now, you mixed it up with Hav about a month ago on the show. with a real interesting hand. You had flop 2 pair, and Hob had an ace queen. Flop was like, I want to say ace 10-6, and you had ace 10. And
I remember that.
yeah, and Hob really overcommitted with his hand with ace queen.
Yeah.
And especially against you, we talk about knowing the player you're playing against, and he put a lot of chips in there where I was surprised. Now, obviously, he said that he thought maybe you had ace-king, and he could get you off ace-king. And in all likelihood, if you had ace-king, yeah, you'd probably throw it away.
True. That's a pretty dangerous line of reasoning.
Yeah, exactly. If you have ace-king, you'll get him to lay it down. But if you've got 2 pair or better, you're not going anywhere. I mean, it's tough. All hearts out here. Jack 7-5. King on the turn, and when checked around, that Jack has picked up the, he's got top pair with the king of hearts. The river's a 3.
George?
And now Jack's going to put money in the pot there. He bets top pair. Boston is thinking about it, but he's not going to call. Mike's got Jack 8 here. I don't think he's going to call with pair of jacks here. He throws it away. I mean, right now, the way Jack plays, I mean, if he's actually putting money in the pot, I would think that he sandbagged the flush the entire way.
Yeah.
So.
Alan raised. Got him off.
Here we go. Question from Dennis for Paul. How many hours and days a week do you play on average?
If I'm playing no limit mostly, which currently I do because it's where the softest money frankly is, I probably play about 6 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week. Sometimes more, sometimes less. But
I mean, do you notice that your concentration level, your focus kind of starts to dwindle after 6 or 7 hours?
yeah, for me about 6 hours is optimum as a maximum to play.
Right.
In no limit, you make one mistake because you're 10% off your game and you lose all your chips. You know, in limit you can play much longer because if you make a mistake, it costs you a bet. But in no limit, you make a bad call, and suddenly you've lost 3,000-4,000 on a hand.
Hob raises out of the big blind with pocket jacks. Now, Hob doesn't normally raise out of the big blind with pocket jacks, but in that case, George and Jack were in the pot. So it's one of those times where you go, okay, these guys, I can handle them. Now, let's say Mo and Mike are in the hands. He might just smooth call there.
If they limp?
Yeah, he might. We'll say we've seen it on the show, surprisingly. Depending on how many players are in there.
Yeah.
Hob is one of those guys. I mean, he doesn't want to play pocket jacks too strong at a position, especially where he figures he's probably going to get called by a couple players.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But the main thing, if you're going to do something like that, you have to be willing to just throw the 2 jacks away if another card hits, even if Mike's bluffing you.
Now, it was interesting. Scott Lundgren was on the show a couple of weeks ago. And I know you told me that he kind of mentored your game for a while.
To some extent.
Yeah. Now, he was playing pocket kings, pocket aces, so slow.
Scott has multiple gears, and I can guarantee you on this, if people are going to see his whole cards, he's going to play the slowest gear he's got.
Okay.
He's going to show you nothing. That's the bottom line.
Allen flops 2 pair here. Now, Jack's got ace-king. Wow. Look at this here. This is interesting. Allen makes it 130. Jack makes it 430. Now Allen moves all in. And Jack calls with ace-king. Unbelievable. 5 of spades, 8 of hearts, and Allen is going to double through Jack. Unreal. Well, there you go. Just like that, everybody that was kind of putting their hopes on Jack, down in flames. He's played so good all night. How does he lose all his money with ace-king there?
Well, for one thing, he didn't take time and think. He just called.
Right.
I mean, it was instant.
I mean, especially against Allen. You got Allen betting. You raise him. Okay, that's fine. Let's see where I'm at. Let me raise him one time. Maybe Allen's got ace-jack or ace-queen. Now Allen moves all in.
Yeah, at that point, it's kind of, his limit background came through where they make those calls fast.
Yeah.
I mean, where no limit, you got to sit and go, wait a minute. Let me think this through.
I only got 1 pair.
I got 1 pair, and I just been pushed all in. I don't know how much Allen had. He had a few thousand, right?
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
look at him now.
Wow.
See there.
That's a almost $6,000 pot.
Okay, now you're walking through the casino and you look at this game, and you see that Allen's got $6,000 in front of him. Is this a game you like now?
I definitely like the game. And I'm going to buy in for a lot of money.
Right. You're going to make sure you cover him. There's a flop there. Ace, queen, 5. Allen with top pair. Now, Amir's got him out kicked, though, with ace, 10. And Amir bets $50.
Allen's calling.
And Allen's going to call. And I always pointed out, I mean, Allen so rarely raises on the flop and on the turn unless he has something big. Once in a while on the river, he'll bluff if he's missed his draw. But very rarely will he bluff on the flop and the turn. 3 of hearts, and Amir's kicker is going to play here unless a 5, a 3 come off. Allen's going to call. Pot's about $600. 4 on the river changes nothing, and Amir's going to bet one more time for value here. He bets $250, and Allen's going to pay him off the entire way.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
That's nice
And
play
Amir
from
takes it.
Amir.
Remember, it's your best 5 cards and hold them, so both players have aces. Amir's got aces, queen, 10, 5, while Allen has aces, queen, 9, 5. I know it seems so silly, but oftentimes hold'em, it is a game of kickers.
That's right. Actually, I was playing with Scott Lundgren out in
the 5-10 game, right? I saw. Because we were really curious. We were watching him play, and he was just smooth calling out of the blinds with pocket kings, just folding it right away when he didn't hit anything big. Playing it really close to the vest. George with ace king here decides not to raise. Mike's just going to call. Mike's kind of slowed down a little bit tonight. Got about an hour left in our promotion. 8-7-3. Not a real good flop for ace king, huh? I think Hov's got the best hand. Hov and Amir. Actually, well, I see a 7 in Jack's hand. He's got 7-6, and he's got the best hand. Now, Mike, look at that. Mike took one off with a gut shot, and he hits his gold card.
Wow.
He catches the 10. He now has the nuts right now. And Jack, with third pair, is going to actually call him.
I think Jack didn't react well to the ace king.
Yeah, and there's the 5. Changes nothing. And I got to tell you, if you're Mike, and he's going to bet big, I like the bet. If you watch the way Jack's playing there, if I had the nuts, I'm going to bet for value against him also.
Sure.
And I'm going to bet it big, especially after seeing what Allen just did against him.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of, I was asking this when Joe was in the booth, and I'm going to ask you too. We have a lot of aspiring poker players out there, our viewers. Any advice for them?
Probably give them the same advice I gave you, eh?
Yeah, don't do it.
No. Well, I mean, it's fun to play, and I don't want to sound too philosophical, serious, or deep about this, because most people watching are poker enthusiasts.
Right.
But it's real fun to play when it's going good. When it's not going good, it's real brutal.
Right.
And you have to have a very strong temperament if you don't come in with an immense bankroll.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The main advice I would say is play within the comfort level of your bankroll, whatever it is.
We always get the questions of bankroll requirements. What kind of bankroll requirements, are there for?
That's almost impossible to answer.
We always say the same thing.
I mean,
it kind of depends on what situation you are in life as well.
Right, and if you've got a good job and you're just playing for fun, well, then you can play much bigger on a smaller bankroll, because if you go broke, it doesn't matter.
I always pointed out, because even between like me and Bart, I've got a mortgage and a wife. Well, Bart's a single guy renting an apartment. His bankroll can be smaller than mine has to be.
Exactly. If the money...
Mo's going to bet the king here. And Mike is going to call here. He's got a gut shot to the 5 with 2 clubs out there. Amir throws it away. Heads up here. Pot is about $500. River's an ace. Changes nothing. But is Mike going to use that card? I can't imagine that Mike was in there just to catch the 5. And Mike is going to try to represent. He bets $400 into about a $600 pot. But you know what? Mo's going to call. And I got to tell you, this is a mistake by Mike. I always try to point this out to our viewers, and I'm going to ask you the same question. Oftentimes, the toughest time to bluff somebody is when they're losing. Now, Mo is down about $4,500, and I know there's not much Mo can beat, but I just notice all the time, I notice that players, when they're down, they're more likely to make that desperation call because maybe they can get closer to even.
Well, it's not so much that you necessarily think you get closer to even. When you're down, it means you've been losing quite a bit, and you actually just start going to yourself, they can't have a hand every time.
Okay.
You know, it's a bad way to play. It's essentially a form of tilt, but you get kind of bloody-minded about it, and you go, well, I'm stuck this much. What's the difference between 45 and 5? So,
I mean, I've noticed in my play, and I've noticed from the show, being on the show for the last 16 months, I've really noticed that I just go, you know what, a lot of times, if a guy is up $5,000 or $6,000 and having a really good night, and you put him to the test for a lot of his chips, he is more likely to fold a pretty big hand because they go, you know what, I'm up so much tonight, I don't want to give it back.
Exactly.
And the opposite way is obviously when they're down $3,000 or $4,000 already, they're more apt to call you.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain guys it doesn't apply to, like Jason Ekbatani or
Obviously, the really good players, it shouldn't affect at all.
Jonas is another one who, up, down, or indifferent, he'll do what he wants to do.
Now, Alan actually bet here with top pair. Jack is calling him with top pair, weaker kicker. Action is over to Amir. Amir's not going to play. Mo is going to play here. He's got the gut shot straight draw.
What's the bet? 40?
It's only $60.
Well, that's a good play from Mo then, because
Yeah,
there's deep money there.
Yeah, the only thing, though, is he's out of position, though, and if a heart comes, how do you even know if it's good?
Yeah,
Well, there's it is.
he's just hoping for the perfect card.
I mean, I guess so, yeah. And he bets 5. Wow, and he catches the card. Now, the pot was about 400, and he bets 500 into two pretty tight players.
That I don't agree with. I would have checked that one there.
You check raise it, right?
Yeah, you know, let Alan bet again. You know he's got top pair.
Right, exactly. And now you're going to scare him off top pair. Yeah. And sure enough, he throws it away, and that's going to get Jack off it.
The whole point of going for that gut shot is to pick up a big pot.
We got another chip count coming right now. And I was going to point out, though, let me ask you something. We talk about positive EV, negative EV, plays that are, plays that make you money or actually lose you money. Now, a play like that where basically he caught a 3-outer to the nuts, right? Because if a 6 of hearts comes, he doesn't even know if he's good. Right. He needs a black 6 or the 6 of diamonds to hit it. Chip count here, 28,000 on the table. Amir's got the table covered still. Allen now at 5,200. Let's see how they're doing. Allen, our big winner. Look at this. You know what? I was joking around with everybody, and Allen is going to be our big winner. This is hysterical. Did anybody pick Allen? Wow. Apparently, we've had thousands of people pick people. We've had 2 people pick Allen. 2 people. Phenomenal. Amir makes it $50 to go with an ace 10. George is going to call. We can't see his cards. He's got a weak ace here. I got to tell you, I'm not calling raises with ace 4. But he decides to. Well, no, he hasn't outflopped them. Both players hit their kicker. 10-4 deuce. And Amir's going to raise it. Yeah. And George throws it away. I mean, I just don't understand why you'd want to put more money in out of position with a crappy hand.
Are you talking about this play or the play of Mo's?
Well, I'll go through both of them, but this one especially, ace 4.
The play of Mo's is actually a good play for a small bet with deep stacks.
Okay, but let me ask
you. If you think you can get paid off by either, and Allen's a player that
might pay
you should be able to get some money from, but I just would have played it a little differently.
Right.
I would have given him the free card there, or I believe Allen would have bet because that card didn't look dangerous.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So I think Allen would have bet if I checked, and then I might have put the raise in.
Right, now let me ask you now. If you're making a $60 call there to hit basically a 3 or a 4-outer, you've got to make, say, $600 on it to make it worthwhile.
You're looking to bust him. You're not looking
for
so you're hoping he's got a set or something
right,
like that.
In that case, he actually lost money on that play. Well, theoretically.
Theoretically, yes.
I mean,
however, Allen's the right spot to try and do it again.
Okay, I got you. Throwing a little bit of money there and see if he's maybe slow playing a set, kind of bringing you in with a set.
Right. See if he... With Allen, he could have made 2 pair on that card that made you the straight.
Definitely. Look at this, all 5s here. Oh, wow. And apparently Trish has got the 5.
Yeah.
We're playing a pair game here, and 3 5s mean $500 for Trish.
Probably from Mo and Mike.
Yeah, and look, Mo's going into his pocket $500. Mike's going to give her $500. She just made $1,000.
Does that count towards
No.
the big winnings?
That does not. That does not count toward the big winnings. Not surprisingly, nobody has a 5. George still has the best hand here, the pair of 4s. And he's bet $70 on the turn. I don't think anybody can call. Alan calls here, the pair of 3s.
Wow.
And I got to tell you, if I'm George, would you put him on a pair of 3s and bet again for value? Put him specifically on 3s?
I don't know. I think I'd check and just hope.
And there's the 4, which
Oh.
really doesn't change anything. Because if you had him beat before, you still had him beat. The 4 does nothing to your hand at all. Classic. And George did bet for value there. I think he bet $100 on the river and gets paid off by Allen. That was funny. Got a question here from Gummy D over on 2+2. He says, "Hey Paul, do you play much pot limit Omaha 8 or better?"
Pot limit Omaha 8 or better just isn't dealt around here.
What about pot limit Omaha high only?
Pot limit high only. I play it very infrequently.
Infrequently.
It's
Once again, it's
usually-
not it doesn't spread here often.
No, it's usually spread around the big tournaments. And honest to God, it might be the scariest gambling game there is in poker.
Yeah, you were mentioning that last night. If there's any game that's more gamble to it than Padugi,
Padugi,
it's pot limit Omaha high.
Yeah. It's you got to strap, passing your seatbelts on, and I guess it's played on the internet quite a bit. But,
Yeah.
You hardly ever see it dealt live except at tournaments.
King 8-5 here, a couple of spades. Nobody's got a spade draw. Amir's got top pair. Mike has been conspicuously quiet.
Incredible. He must know I'm in the booth.
I mean, it's ridiculous. He was playing every hand the first hour, I swear. I mean, he
must
hasn't
know
played a
I'm-
hand. It's
He's
unbelievable.
trying not to show me anything.
I don't understand it.
Well, you made a great bluff against Amir.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess at a table like this, this might be the kind of table where you almost have to wait a little bit for the hands and get paid.
What's stunning, though, is that he's losing and he's playing like this. Normally, when he's losing, he will not slow down. So,
One thing I
he
will
needs
say about Mike's game.
he needs Barry at the table to
Yeah.
chirp it up with him.
We always point out that Barry is one of those reactive players where he'll play a small game if it's a small game. But if there are a lot of big guys in there and big stacks, he will react and he will play off of them.
Right.
Whether it be Kenna James or Michael Mizrachi or Mike.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Barry has much consideration about the money, so he's
It's a lot about the
willing
ego
to
there.
play,
Now, Mike has made it $80 to go with Queen Jack suited. George is calling him with King Jack suited. And both players miss here. And Mike checks it. George does not take a shot at it. He checks as well. King on the turn. And these guys are not playing against each other. They're going to check it down.
Harv, Mike, and George don't seem to be playing each other.
But, I mean, it's funny. George was playing against them before. George is going to hate me for saying this, but, George is scared of Mike.
Well,
He is. He can kill me for it, but he is scared of Mike. I know he is. I can see it. I know he is. So is Barry Woods.
We are talking about who's the winner.
Who isn't? Alan.
Alan is not scared of Mike. I got to tell you, Mike doesn't scare me. There are players that are in my head. Mike is not one of them. Now, I'm not looking to mix it up with Mike. I think he's a very good player, but at the same time, I love him in the game. For the same reasons Joe Wynn loves him in the game, is because he is creating so much action. He is stirring the pot so much. He really puts me in a spot where I don't have to play very many hands. I can kind of just sit in the grass and wait for big hands and then get paid.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm David Tuckman here with Paul Davis. We're watching No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 10 and 20. This is a unrestricted buy-in game. We've got over $30,000 on the table. 4 ways, small little raise there. Makes it $400 to go. Jack 7-4, 3 spades. And this is not a real good flop for anybody. The flops here. No, not anybody really. I mean, Allen's got queen of spades in his hand. You wonder how Allen's even in there. I mean, he's got queen 8. We don't have it up there.
Yeah, Allen's got the best hand right now, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
he does. He's got a pair of 8s, plus he has the
That's
flush
it.
draw.
Amir's got 9-10, the straight.
Yeah. He actually, he
the
does have a
straight.
straight. Yeah, the
Yeah.
8 gave him the straight. Thank you. Missed that up there. I was trying to get Allen's hand up there. And Amir's going to bet for value. And is Allen going to pay him off?
It doesn't mean your analysis makes any sense.
No flush, but I figured you would take
Allen always in there to give his 2 cents. Always love the analysis from Allen. We've actually had Allen on the show.
Uh-huh.
And one of the funniest things ever, Allen came on the show.
Yeah.
We talked to him. And I asked him what his strengths and weaknesses were as a player.
Wow.
And he said one of the strengths he had was that he's mysterious. Nobody ever knows what he has. I thought you'd find that funny.
Well, actually, I think some of us know more, possibly more than Allen knows.
Right, exactly. Button moves over to seat number 4. Mike's in a lot big blind, actually. Actually, I take that bet. Boston has actually bought the button, and Mike is straddling. That's what I thought happened.
I might be up if
So it is $40 to call. If we ever use terminology that you don't know what it means, on the left-hand side, you can click on poker terminology, and anything that I say or Bart says is defined there. Jack is going to raise it up here with nothing. Now, the only thing you
Alright,
wonder
Jack.
about Jack, now Jack is raising up, he's making a move, and he's stealing the pot. Jack doesn't raise it with queens, he doesn't raise it with jacks.
Well, now he shows the 6-7.
Right.
That's a mistake, actually. If you're not gonna raise with queens and jacks, then when you do steal it, you shouldn't show them.
Right. Let him assume you have something big, right? Play that angle.
However, if he now starts raising with queens and jacks, then it would have been a wise thing
Definitely.
to show that. It might get him some play.
See if we got any more questions for you.
Nah.
Yeah, there it is. Here we go. Question for Paul. Hi, Paul. I was wondering if you could tell the Live at the Bike viewers what you do away from the table to help you at the table. Do you track your sessions? Do you keep notes on players, analyze hands away from the table? And if so, what role does that play in being a successful cash game player?
Wow.
Question from Lindsay.
Well, Lindsay, I probably do disappointingly little as far as I keep extensive notes on every game I play as far as the exact time and result. And I don't keep any notes on players at all. I just have that data in my head.
Well, you've got a pretty big head.
Yeah, there you
So,
go.
I mean, you can keep it in there.
Thank you, sir. I guess. I've gone from an old turkey to a big head or something
Hey,
like
the
that.
turkey thing is all Bart.
This bar?
100% Bart, okay?
All right, now. That's why I'm on the show with you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm going to blame him there. Amir with 2 pair there. Hav is calling now. Oh, wow. Look at this. Hav has made trips. Amir is continuing to bet. Hav is on smooth call here. Hav needs not a queen. I was going to say Hav needs an 8. Hav could catch a king. And Amir has a full house here. And I got to tell you, if you're Amir, why not bet strong here? Hav is just going to smooth call this. And Amir's going to win himself about an $1,800 pot. We always talk about, obviously, people overvaluing trips. Now, Hav didn't raise. I don't think he ever really did anything wrong there. It's one of those spots where, you're just going to lose money. What are you going to do?
Either Amir has him beat with ace-9 or full house, or he's got Amir beating him, he won't call a raise.
Right, exactly. There's not much value to raising there, is there?
No.
I mean, unless Amir's got, say, Jack-9, and maybe he gets paid off, but tough spot. We always point out, obviously, people overvaluing trips.
Yeah, I
If
was
you were
answering
beat
the
on the flop-
question, so I missed it. Did Hav raise, or did...
No, it was a limped around pot. And it was just Amir bet, Hav called.
Yeah.
Amir bet, Hav called. Amir bet, Hav called. And that was it.
You got the max, my friend. Trust me. You got the max.
So you don't really, so no notes. Analyze hands? I mean, do you ever go to a forum or anything like that, or talk to your buddies about?
I have friends that I go over specific hands with that are professional players, and we run mathematics on the computer and so forth to
Okay.
see results.
Mike's going to raise it up here. 6-5. He's raising on his button. Makes it $80 to go. Gets called in 4 spots here, so the pot is quickly $400. Ace, king, queen. Mo is flop top, actually bottom two pair. But you can look at the crap out there. I mean, this is a raised pot, Paul.
Wow.
4-6, 5-7, 5-6, 8-9. Now, obviously, most players are playing those kind of hands because they figure their cards are live. But in this game, look at it. Everybody's playing the same thing.
Yeah.
You're almost more apt to play. You should probably be playing king, queen. Those are the hands that are live in this game.
Seems that way.
Yeah. Well, I know.
To further respond to that question, the important thing is to have someone you can talk to whose opinion you value to go over specific hands with. Because you will wake up in the middle of the night wondering, what the hell did I do then? Or was it right, was it wrong? And if you have players whose opinion you respect, then it's a big help.
Right.
And you have to be honest with them in what you did. That's the other thing. You can't shade the story to make yourself look good, because you learn nothing out of that, which most people, I'm generalizing, but a lot of people seem to.
No, of course. I mean, nobody wants to take a responsibility for themselves. I mean, it's kind of human nature. Right. So you want to make yourself sound a little better, even to yourself.
That's the cruelest bottom line about poker, is either, in a cash game, is either, after a year's time, you are either winning or you're losing. And if you're losing, it's not luck. That is sad to say, the way it is. And since the houses do take money and charge you for playing, and there's tips and all that stuff, you've got to do better than just break even.
Now look, now Mo here with the ace-7. Now he's flop top pair, but he's never put any money in the pot. He's kind of played it really slow. Obviously, he doesn't want to build a big pot with a hand that weak.
Yeah.
He knows he's got nothing more than really a bluff catcher. Yeah. He also has nothing to worry about. The board is completely, there's no draw out there whatsoever, really.
Yeah, he did fine.
Yeah. Kind of about the size pot you want to win with ace-7.
Exactly. If any more money goes in, especially with 2 9s on the board, and you're going to lose the pot.
Vulnerable. Hey, well, I know I've been keeping you. I know you want to jump back in the game. But I really, really appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me on.
Paul Davis, another one of the excellent, excellent cash game players. If you see him at a game, run. Do not play with him. He will take your money, ruthlessly take your money. Seems like a nice guy. He actually is a really nice guy, but he has no problem taking your money. He will smile at you, he'll shake your hand, and then he will gladly take your entire stack.
Before everywhere, go there just first show yourself.
330 more to come.
Got about 45 minutes left in tonight's show, and we've got 30 minutes.
I have to listen tomorrow. I gotta watch it to see. Paul is watching there.
George is going to raise it here, pre-flop, and he's going to take it down. No flop. Once again, we're live at the bike. I'm David Tuckman. If you want to email me, you can email me at live@thebike.com. Button moves over to seat number 9. Once again, we've got a great $500 promotion. Whoever picks the biggest winner and how much they've won is getting $500 in cash. We've got about 33 minutes left in tonight's promotion. We're actually going to stop the game at 9:30 and do a count. Right now, I believe Allen is our big winner, though. Unbelievable. I mean, that's not somebody you would guess normally. You know, the funny thing is, as a joke, I almost wanted to bet on Allen.
9:30 more.
And I love Allen. I mean, I have nothing but respect for the guy. He's a great guy. But, you know, you see all these poker players and a lot of good players in this game, and you wouldn't think Allen would be the big winner. But, hey, Boston has raised it up with pocket 7s, and he's going to take it down pre-flop. A couple of nice emails here from William Frick. Go, William. Rock 'em, buddy. Once again, we do this every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. If you miss this show at all, you can actually watch it on a replay at 11 p.m. tonight and every 3 hours until 5 p.m. tomorrow. We also replay the entire week on Sunday, starting at noon. Buttons in seat number 1. Small blind $10, big blind $20. Action's on Boston. Boston's going to limp in here at 8-7 diamonds. Not normally. I don't normally want to be limping in with a hand like that when the mic is to my left because most pots will be raised. But Mike has been very quiet tonight, so changes it up a little bit. Ace-7 deuce. Allen's got top pair. He's got ace-5. He's going to check eat and check eat. You like that? I don't know what language that was. Boston actually bets. Did he bet $20? See, now that's kind of like a nothing bet. You get no information at all out of that bet. I mean, I realize that the board there's no draw out there whatsoever. Allen made 2 pair, by the way, and checked it, looking for the check raise. Didn't get it, and now he's going to bet for value on the river. And Boston is not going to call him. At least I'm going to guess Boston's not going to call him. But I got to tell you, if you're going to take a shot at the pot, bet $60. I mean, the pot is about 120. Bet 60. Bet 70. 20 is really not going to get you any information. Somebody might even float one off just to take it away from you on the turn.
Thank you.
Once again, Bart is actually going to be back from Vegas tomorrow. And he will be doing the show on Monday. Hope you guys appreciated our guest commentators tonight. It's funny now in the new landscape of poker with tournament poker, you've got a lot of really charismatic people out there that are looking for the TV, and you've got say players like you've got Kenneth James, who's just oozing with personality and charisma. You've got people like that, Daniel Negreanu, Michael Matusow, who's kind of hawking the TV. Most cash game players, the really good ones, the ones you've never heard of, they're really, really quiet. They're really anonymous. And obviously, Paul and Joe were very soft-spoken. 6 ways, limped around, $120 pot. Ace, king, 8, all spades. Now, George has got ace, queen. Jack has got ace, 7. Nobody's got spades, though. Pretty scary flop there. And George is going to put a little bet out there. He's got a $150 bet. Allen, where's Allen's hand? King 8. Oh, Allen's actually got bottom 2 pair. I apologize. He makes it 400 to go. Allen obviously scared of something. And I got to tell you, if you're George, I think it's an easy laydown. You've got top pair, no spade in your hand, and he's going to throw away the ace. And Allen takes it down. George obviously playing the player. He knows that if Allen's raising it, Allen's got something pretty big. I got to tell you one thing. With Bart here, I'm usually stuffing my face with candy and red vines and all sorts of good stuff. Without him here, I'm not getting a chance to eat my my fill of junk food. Definitely affecting me. Get a live straddle here from Mike. $40 to play now. I got to hand it to everybody in the game, too. Nobody's actually really gotten up from this game. We've been 9-handed pretty much the entire night. George is going to limp in here, and this is another time where it's just not a hand that I would play. Obviously, there are a lot of different ways to play the game, but ace-7 offsuit in a full-winning game, I just don't know why I'm even in there. And we're going to see this 4 ways, limped around $160 pot. Queen 7-6. Now, George is the best hand that he has. He's in second to last position. Is he going to bet if it goes to him? No, he's going to check it. Nobody bets. Well, 4 on the turn. 4 clubs. And now George is going to bet. And Jack calls here. Jack has picked up he's open-ended now. He needs a 3 or an 8. A Jack actually would do it as well. And a 6 is no good. 6 of clubs on the river.
Betting 200. 300.
Wow, and look at that. Nice bluff by Jack. George checks. Jack bets $300, and he takes it down. Obviously not much you can beat with the ace-7.
Adam, you still in?
How much you are in the game? 5,000, right?
If you want to check out my blog, Under the Gun with David Tuckman, you can check it out on the left-hand side of the site. I actually just recently updated it yesterday. wrote about a hand that I had with Barry Woods. I also played on the show last Friday. Talked about that a little bit, about a big mistake that I made against Amir. So you can check that out.
I know which ones they are.
You didn't give me 1,000, I took it from you.
You can identify your chips?
Yeah, I got
That's good.
Raising.
And Mike's going to raise it out of the big blind. He makes it 120 more. And I don't know if anybody's going to call this. I really don't. No, Hobb is not going to play. He's eating. And Mike is going to take it down. And Mike has been a little more selective in his raising tonight, and it's been working. I want to say Mike is probably maybe up $1,000 or maybe even. But we'll get a chip count up to you pretty quickly. Chip count here, we got $31,000 at the table. Amir is our chip leader with 6,600. Allen with 4,500. Mo with 4,400. Boston bringing up the rear at 1,200. Let's see how they're doing. Hold your breath. Allen, our big winner, $3,000. Wow. Amir's up 1,600. Mike is still down 1,200. Mo's our big loser. He's down 3,600. Keep track of this throughout the night. You know, it's funny. Normally our 10-20 game kind of starts off slowly and then picks up steam as it goes through the night. Tonight, it's actually the opposite. It kind of started off, you know, like gangbusters, and it slowed down. Now, Boston is raising it up, and Amir is calling with a hand that's really garbage. I mean, he calls it up with a hand that's so easily dominated. Allen's going to call as well with the same ace-king. And not surprisingly, the players all miss, and Boston's going to make a continuation bet on the button and probably take it down. Power of position in this game. Button moves over to seat number 6. Big Mike. I guess that was a lot of fun last night playing 20-40 mix. Obviously, I've been playing probably almost No Limit Hold'em exclusively for the last 4 or 5 months. So it's really a nice change of pace when I can play some mixed games. And playing a little Padugi, a little Deuce to 7, and a little Omaha 8 or better was a lot of fun. And the game was such an action game as well, having Allen in there, Mike in there, and a couple other players that don't play it very often. A lot of fun. Now, Ace-Jack, well, no, Ace-10 here for Mike on the button, and that's a raising hand. He doesn't need much excuse to raise on the button. He makes it $90 to go, and Amir is going to call with Ace-Jack. Allen is going to call with Ace-King. Wow. One thing about Allen's game is, I mean, if he ever raises pre-flop, it's almost always a big pocket pair. And Jack is going to call with 9s. Only one ace left in the deck. How about some sort of fun like, you know, Ace-9 deuce flop? Well, how about a king flop there? King 6-4, and Allen has outflopped them all. Now, Allen is going to bet it, and this is another mistake. Is he going to bet or is he going to check? I got to tell you, if I'm Allen, I'm checking it. Now, normally me, I'm betting it. But if you're Allen, I'm probably checking it. I'm going to let Mike make a continuation bet, and then I'm going to check raise him. So I get some more money out of it. But you look at that board, it's pretty draw. You know, there's no real draw out there unless somebody had, say, 5-3 or 7-5. And Allen's not going to make any money with his ace-king here. And sure enough, he just wins the pot. But if he checks it to Mike, Mike might make a $300 or $400 continuation bet. Well, then you have a couple of options. You can check raise him with ace-king. You can also check call and then lead out on the turn. A lot of different ways to play it with ace-king there. You know, Allen had them both dominated, but unfortunately for him, the wrong card came. What language am I speaking? Button moves over to seat number 7. Small blind $10, big blind $20. Giorgio is under the gun, first act. We got some sort of concert going on here at the bike. Got some loud bass going on. All right, we have our grand opening of our sushi restaurant. It's actually a pretty good sushi restaurant. I've eaten there a couple of times in their, they were kind of half opened up last week. And I ate there a couple of times, and the grand opening is tonight. So if you're down at the bike, check it out. Sushi galore. Amir's going to bet this. He's got absolutely nothing, but he's got position, and he's going to take it down. Button moves over to seat number 8. Now, once again, I want to remind everybody, beginning July 12th, which is next Wednesday, we are switching to subscription only. What does this mean? Only subscribers will be able to watch the show in its entirety. All others will only get a preview of the show to come. In addition to our nightly games, we are ramping up the content by adding, okay? We have our guest commentator promotion. All subscribers, as of July 11th, are automatically registered for this drawing. Included with the guest commentator experience is 6 months of free subscription and $500 in cash to play in that night's game. Pretty good deal. All you got to do is be a subscriber. We have special guest appearances. Kicking off our new era, our new chapter is Liz Lou. We are going to have Liz Lou in the booth next Wednesday. 7-5 deuce, couple of spades limped around. But wait, there's more. Special free rolls. In the next few weeks, we'll be holding 2 $1,500 free rolls for our subscribers. So for absolutely no money, you can win the dough it takes to pay for the subscription for an entire year. If you are a subscriber, you will be getting emails with further details. So we got special promotions, free rolls, guest commentators, all sorts of great features that we are going to be bringing to you. Now, if you are already a subscriber, you obviously know the value of it, and you have to do nothing, change nothing. You will continue to get the great Live at the Bike coverage you get now. If you are not a subscriber, just click on the top left-hand side, go to the top left-hand side of the screen, and you can click on the screen, and you can quickly sign up for $14.95. You get it all. Every show we've ever done. We've got Barry Greenstein, Greg Raymer, Kathy Liebert, Scotty Wynn, Michael Mizrachi, Kenneth James, you name it, they've been on the show. And we will continue to bring you these, the great poker players in the world. And some great poker. Mike raises it up the queens and gets no action. And promotions like tonight, where we're just giving $500 away, just giving it away for nothing. These are the promotions that will be coming in the future. But obviously, in the future, just a guess here, but in the future, only subscribers will be eligible for it. Buttons in seat number 1. Small blind 10, big blind 20. Couple of limpers. Limp, 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 limp. Allen's going to limp. He's going to complete with the old 10-5 of diamonds. Jack's going to tap the table. And we're going to see it 6 ways. A lot of multi-way pots. 7-6 deuce. Nobody's got anything. You know, it's funny, when Mike raises, usually you're seeing more 3-handed, 2-handed, but without Mike raising as much, you're seeing a lot of multi-way pots. Well, a 5 on the turn. And a couple of players make a 5 here. I want to say that Jack is the best hand here at Queen 5, and he does. But Amir is trying to steal it. Amir is open-ended here with the 4. Allen calls, Jack folds. And the river is the Jack of diamonds, and is Amir going to continue here at the bluff? He bets 300, and Allen folds. I mean, it's the part of the play I just don't understand. Okay, you look at that flop. Then you look at the turn. Leave it up there for 1 second, Ronnie. Deuce 7, 6, 5. You have 10-5 of diamonds. Okay, well, Amir bets it, okay? And you call with 10-5. What are you hoping for? I just don't understand what he's doing there. Now, if your opponent is bluffing, well, then he's certainly going to bluff the river also. And if he has you beat, he's either going to check it down and you're going to lose, or he's going to bet it with his monster and you're going to throw it away. I just don't understand why you call. Thank you, Ronnie. I mean, you've got to have some sort of plan. You know, you can't just blindly call one bet on the flop or on the turn, and then when the river comes out and the guy bets, you go, oh, well, what do I do now? Have some sort of idea of what you might do on the next street. We talk about it all the time. I always try to compare poker to a game of chess, where you kind of, or even a war, where you've got to be one step ahead of your enemy. know what they're going to do, and if they do this, what you're going to do, and if you do that, what they might do. The best players are 3, 4, 6 steps ahead of you. Did Allen raise this? George actually raised it up in the cutoff seat. I was wondering, because Allen doesn't usually raise with ace-queen. George raises it up, and Allen calls and flops top 2 pair. But there are 3 diamonds out there, and he's not going to mess around. And he's going to take it down right here and now. Mo limped in with 8-6 of clubs. George had raised it up with 4-7 of spades. Buy himself the button. It didn't work when Allen called. And obviously Allen's going to take that down. And Allen continues to be our big winner. But you can see how his style of play, it doesn't lend to be winning. I mean, it's just tough to win when you're playing it like that.
I have ace-queen, he's got fucking something other shit. I hit 1 pair, he's got king-8. Now he's got the
Live straddle player.
Live straddle by you-know-who, Corporation Mike there.
I really don't want straddle. Now give me 2 queens, I'll take it. Thank you.
And apparently William Frick is going to sign up for the archives tonight. He wants to co-host Live at the Bike. And you know what? By signing up for the archives, you are automatically entered into our commentator promotion, guest commentator promotion.
Five player.
No, I lost that. About 5 minutes.
Flop is 10-6 deuce. Couple of spades out there. Nobody's got a 10. Nobody's got a 6. Hov's got the best hand with 7s. Another 6 out there. And if you're Hov, at this point, you put some money in there at 7s. No, he's going to let the free card come off. And the river's a queen. You know, he lets Jack get there. You know, and not a terrible way to play 7s sometimes. You know, oftentimes you're playing 7s. You don't really want to lose a lot of money with them. Trying to play as small a pot as possible. Jack is going to take it down with a pair of queens. Queens and 6s and a king kicker. And here it is, post by Chicken Tender. Of all the nights for Allen to get paid off, why? Why tonight? I mean, the funniest thing is I want to say we probably have a couple of thousand people who voted. And I think we had 2 people vote for Allen. I think about 50% of the viewers voted for Mike. And Amir's got aces. Now he limps in first position. I got to tell you, normally I love that play, but in this game it's played really passively. I don't know if anybody's going to raise. But as I say it, Mike does it anyway. Mike raises with 9-7. And what's Amir going to do? Amir's going to play it slow. And that's really going to bring in the players behind you. I got to tell you, I cannot believe Amir played this hand this slowly. Because the raise is so small, that's going to bring in George. Gets rid of Jack, but Hov's going to call with Queen 9. We're seeing this 4 ways, $320 pot. The flop comes out Queen 10 deuce. And you really have no idea where you are if you're Amir. Amir's going to find out, though. He bets $180. Now, George is obviously not going to play this. He's going to get rid of it. But what does Hov do with a hand like Queen 9? Is that the flop you were looking for with Queen 9? And he's thinking about it. And I think he's going to call this. He's going to try to it looks like he's going to raise. He makes it 400 to go. Now, this is the problem with Amir. Does this guy have king queen? Does he have ace queen? Does he have queen 10? Does he have a set? You have no idea. Because when he limped in and Mike made it 80 to go and you called, you basically made it a limped around pot. Any hand that Hov thought was good enough to limp in with. And look at this. Amir is going to re-raise, and he's going to take it down. But I got to tell you, that is a suicidal play. You got to realize that any hand that Hov thought was good enough to limp in with, he is certainly going to call on the button when 3 players have already called and it's only $60 more to him. So he could easily have anything. And obviously, if Hov had Queen 10 there instead of Queen 9, you're going to hear from him, and you're going to lose a big pot with aces in pretty much a limped around pot. Mo not in there with the ace-9. Ace-queen 7 out there. And Amir's got ace-3. Mike has bet $50 with his second pair, and Amir calls. Pot's about $150. A 9 on the turn changes nothing. Mo would have made 2 pair. Check, check. And the river's a jack, and this is going to check down. And you notice how Mike is not bluffing at it. One of the reasons why Mike is not bluffing at it is he has a decent hand. He's got a queen. He doesn't need to bluff at it. It's also one of those times where the 9 of clubs comes. Now there's really nothing you can beat. If Amir called you with a club draw, well, he got there. If Amir called you with an ace, well, he already had you beat. Button moves over to seat number 6. That's Mike. Trying to check out the 2+2 for him over here. Once again, I'm going to start recommending books. I was telling you about that new book I got, the Sklansky-Miller book, No Limit Hold'em Theory and Practice. I'm actually now about 128 pages through it. I got to tell you, it's a really good book. I like it a lot. I do. And I also am going to continue to recommend Phil Gordon's little green book, Lessons and Teachings in No Limit Texas Hold'em. I like it a lot.
He saw 5,000. So, yeah, the rest is probably small print or something, huh?
We're going to do this with no cards. So I'm going to just tell you what happens. Ronnie's gone to the bathroom, I think. Mike's going to raise it up with 6-4 suited. He's going to make it $80 to go. Amir's going to call him with 8-7. Mo's going to call with 6-5.
380.
Trish is going to re-raise it to 380 with pocket jacks, a couple of black jacks. That'll probably be enough to take it down. Nobody's really got much of anything. We got a lot of just kind of one-gap suited connectors. And Trish takes it down. Very easy. Trish likes to limp in there with those big hands. Now, in that case, she was actually in the big blind with pocket jacks. And actually, she was under the gun there. So she limped in with jacks into the limp re-raise with a hand as weak as jacks. So tomorrow, if you want to play in our mini series of poker, tomorrow's event is No Limit Hold'em, $100 with multi-rebuys. No, I'm sorry. Tomorrow's actually ladies. Ladies No Limit Hold'em, $100 buy-in. So ladies, come on down, 4:15 p.m. tomorrow. The World Series of Poker tomorrow is the No Limit Hold'em, $1,000 with rebuys. Hov's got the ladies, and nobody's going to call. We've got about 8 minutes left in tonight's promotion. We got a chip count here, $31,000 on the table. Amir's got the chip, has got the table covered with 7,200. Allen still has 5,500. Let's see how they're doing. Allen, our big winner, is up $4,000. Wow, unbelievable. And in about 8 minutes, we are going to stop the game for a second, and we are going to count the chips to get an official. Well, I wonder what's on my mind. Get the official tally there. But right now, it looks like Allen, and he looks like he's up $4,000. Mike's got he's got bottom pair plus his open-ended, and he's going to bet it. Trish calls with 5-6. She's open-ended. She's got the garbage side of it. Third club on the turn. They check. Nobody's got a club, and Mike's going to take this down with a pair of sevens. I tell you, man, they are playing some loud music in that sushi restaurant. Grand opening party. I mean, they are just... Our walls are literally shaking. Buttons in Trish's spot, seat number 9. Small blind, George. Jack's not going to play. Mike's going to raise it up with kings. Amir's going to call with ace-queen. And I tell you, if this flop comes out queen high, we're talking about a huge pot. This could change everything right now. Let's see. Well, luckily for Amir, he did not catch a queen. Mike's going to bet. And this is the problem. I mean, when you're calling raises against Mike, you have no idea what he's got. Mike could have jack high. He could have anything. This time he actually has pocket kings. 5 and a 3 on the turn in the river. Wouldn't have changed anything. So once again, if you're wavering, if you're kind of thinking, is this show worth $14.95? Should I play it? I got to tell you, if you play poker, you're crazy not to subscribe. Even if you hate me and you hate Bart, even if you were to mute us and just watch the games, it's well worth the $14.95 plus the archives. I mean, we've got every single show we've ever had. You can go check it out. I mean, if you ever have a question about your own game, you can kind of like find a hand that almost is exactly the way your hand was, and you can see how it should have played out. We also obviously will continue with our video blog, where we will answer your questions and dissect your hands. All sorts of great features. Alan's going to bet. What do you think he's got? At least top pair, right? Let's see. He's got 2 pair. Top and bottom. Hav is going to call, though. Hav is calling with top pair ace kicker. Mike's going to call with second pair. And there, Mike's in trouble. Mike has caught 2 pair. Alan has a bigger 2 pair. Talk about reverse implied odds. Now, Alan checks. Hav is going to bet big. He bets $300 into about a $450 pot. And Mike is going to raise it up. How much, too? He makes it $600 to go. And what is Alan going to do here? Look, he takes the glasses off. The pot was about $400. Alan checked. Hav made it $300. Mike made it $600 to go. The pot is now $900, $1,350, $600 to call. How do you play this if you're Alan? You've got top and bottom pair. Obviously, can be a very vulnerable hand. You can't beat 6-4. 8-9 didn't get there. Alan tormented by this one. Top and bottom. Now, surprisingly, Alan checked it. Really put himself in the spot. I got to tell you, I'm probably betting the 10-3 there. And then see what happens. And he throws it away. He throws away the best hand. And Hav is going to probably call this. And Hav is surprised. Hav goes, wait, you have 2 pair on that board? How? It's Mike. Are you really surprised? And Hav throws away the ace-10. And Mike is going to win this pot here with 5-7. And the river was another 5. Oh, my. Wow. Well, I mean, it's a bad laydown by Alan, but in the end, he saved himself money because the river was a 5 and Mike would have filled up. Maybe Alan bet on himself. Didn't want to give away any of his earnings. Button moves over to seat number 2. We've got about 2 more hands left in our promotion. You know, and it's funny here. We were actually going to stop the show because I kind of assumed that somebody would win, somebody like Mike, and we would be, we'd have enough people voting on him that it would come down to the literally $10 or $20. But apparently our big winner is Alan, and we don't have that many players that have voted. We don't have that many people that actually voted for Alan, and I don't think it's that close, so I don't think we're going to stop the show.
Chips. Wow, I got you up the best hand.
King half got him on.
You save money off it that
Flop is 8-5-5. Boston here at top pair. I believe he bet Mike called and Trish called. Now you got to put somebody in a 5 here, don't you? I mean, you look at that flop and wait a second. Somebody's got to be sandbagging, don't they? And Boston checks it. Mike is going to bet. And Trish now, I mean, I'm not quite sure why Trish overcalled. I mean, she had a gut shot, but you got to think if the 6 comes, 6-5 is a likely holding for somebody. You could be drawing dead. And there's the 6, and she actually would have made it. Unbelievable. She would have made the straight. It would have been a one-liner. But she would have made it. And Mike is really putting in a please call me bet. I know I've got the best hand. Please call me. Please call me. Now, the pot is about $600. Actually, it's now $800. 200 to call. Boston is getting 4-1 on his money. And Mike is making it almost so enticing he has to call. And that's pretty much what Mike did. And Mike wins himself about an $800 pot. And we have one last hand in our promotion. Let's see if something crazy happens, folks. Live at the bike. You never know what's going to happen. It's a straddled pot. Mike is in it. And this is it. Hold your breath at the edge of your seat. What could happen? I got to tell you, I'm getting that warm, tingly feeling inside. Kind of like when you climb the rope in gym class. Well, you know what? Amir is folded and Allen is folded, so nothing's going to change here. It limps around. Is Mike going to raise it out of the blind with queen deuce? I don't know. No, he's not going to do it. 5 ways. $200 pot. 8-6-5. Not a bad flop for Hobb there. He's flopped an open-ended straight draw with a pair. And, wow, well, better flop for George, though, because he's open-ended as well, but he has top pair. And if you're George, you got to bet this, without a doubt. You got top pair, you're open-ended. That's a pretty big hand. You can go to war with that pair, that hand.
I need chips, please. I want whoever votes on me to win, that's all.
You're going to laugh when I tell you so.
Give the chips to me,
I can play.
don't call Mike.
And George is going to take it down. And here it is. Our promotion is over. $500 go to, let's see. Well, our big winner was Allen. That's Allen. And his final tally, by the way, out of all the votes we had well over 1,000 votes. Only two people picked Allen. Good for you. One person said Allen was going to win $7,000. The other person said Allen was going to win $3,000. And Allen is apparently up $3,900. Right? Apparently he's up $3,900. So the winner who picked Allen and said Allen was going to win $3,000 is our winner. Now, we only have his email address, okay? So I'm going to give this. And you guys can email him as quick as you want, but it's going to be really quick, so don't worry. The email is rford setting sail 2020, okay? So if that's you, email us. Let me know your name so I can congratulate you on the air. You have just won yourself $500 in cash. I hope you appreciate it. Only here at Live at the Bike. We just give away money for nothing. You did nothing. We just gave you money. I mean, you realize this guy, R. Ford Setting Sail 2020, has made more money than all of us in the booth combined tonight? And I'm not lying. Boston made it $80 to go and got called in 5 spots. Boston raised it out of the blind? Wow, Boston has raised out of the blind with ace-9 offsuit. And then checked. And now it comes to Allen, and Allen is going to bet, and he's got king-queen. And Allen's going to continue his dominance. Unbelievable. Mike is going to call. He's open-ended. He's got backdoor diamonds as well. Oh, wow, and there it is. Mike hits his friggin' gin card. Look at that. Mike has got the nuts here. And it goes check, check. And Mike makes it on the other side as well when the 8 falls. He makes it straight 2 times. He checks it one time to see if Allen would bet his king again. And now he's over betting the pot. He's betting it huge. Well, the promotion is over, so I guess Allen just figures, what the heck, I'll give my money away now. And there it is. He calls down, how much? $1,500. Unbelievable. The pot was only $800. The pot wasn't even $800. I want to say the pot was, actually no, the pot was $800. Mike bets $1,500 into an $800 pot and gets paid off. Unreal. Unreal. Now, just for the record, Allen would still be our big winner. Yeah, but he'd only be up about $2,000 now. So our Ford setting sale 2020 would still be our winner. Unbelievable.
They always do.
Buttons in seat number 5, that's Boston. Pocket queens in the big blind for Amir. Let's see how he plays it.
Raise it. Big blind raise.
And big blind raise. Amir makes it $100 more to go. George is going to call it the 9-8. Allen's not going to play. Mike is... He's going to play the suited king. And we're going to see it 3 ways, $300 pot. Actually, $380 pot, sorry. Ace, king, 10. God, could you pick a worse flop for pocket queens? I mean, that's just god-awful. Now, the only thing going for Amir is he does have the queen of hearts in his hand. He also has a gut shot if a jack were to come. Now, Mike can't really take much heat, though. I mean, he's got a king, but is that the flop you're looking for with king 5 of diamonds? He's got the best hand, yeah. He asked Amir if he has any of that. Trying to get a little read on him. And Mike is going to raise it up. Makes a little min raise, a little informational raise. And Amir, he sensed it out, and he is raising him back. Look at this. And Mike's going to get rid of it. Nice play by Amir. Look at that. Wow, and I got to tell you, if this promotion went on, 6 minutes longer, Amir is probably our big winner now. Unbelievable. It's all timing, man. I tell you, location, location, location. That and timing.
Well, you said, what do you think? I think he doesn't have an ace. Maybe he's got 2 jacks.
Worst flop for pocket queens, I tell you.
And Jive Dadson, who was ahead early on with Jack, when Jack was winning, unfortunately for him, Jack paid off Allen way too much of that ace-king.
4 players.
And look, we get some emails coming in. I'll get to them in a second. Flop is 10-7-6, couple of clubs. Wow, that's a pretty good flop there for Amir. He's got Jack, Queen of clubs. George with top pair, though. He's got the gut shot straight draw. He's going to call Amir's bet. And we're going to see this heads up. Pot is now about $300, $280. Turns a 5, changes nothing. George still has the best hand here, but Amir can catch a jack, a queen, or a club. See, he's about a 2-to-1 dog. The river's a 4 diamonds. Amir actually checked it. George bet. And you imagine it's going to go check, check now. I can't imagine George betting this, and he doesn't. And George takes it down. Takes down about a $600 pot. Get an email here from David Gladstone. Wait a second. Liz Lou alone with Bart? Has anyone considered the ramifications of having Liz Lou alone in the booth with Bart? Might he become a drooling, babbling idiot? What would change? Or just gawk in silence? Or will he become a smooth talker, keeping the Bartgasms to a minimum? This shall be interesting. Well, you'll have to check it out on July 12th, next Wednesday. Liz Lou will be here. Jack 9-7, couple of spades out there. Allen's got top pair, and he's going to bet it. No surprise. Now, if Allen would ever open up his game a little bit more and start betting his draws, it might be a little bit more difficult to put him on a hand. Jack is going to call with 2 10s, though. I mean, he's got a gut shot straight draw. He can also obviously catch a 10. Well, the 6 on the turn changes nothing. Allen still has the best hand. And Allen's going to bet here $100. And Jack's going to call. And I think at this point you've got to know your best hand here for Allen and probably bet one more time here. And he bets $200, and Jack's going to call. I tell you, Jack has been Allen's personal little ATM machine there. We should all have one like that. And Allen takes down what turns out to be about a $1,200 pot. You can also check out Live at the Bike at MySpace. I see a couple people have requested to be our MySpace friends list. I have nothing to do with that. I don't even know how to do it. So when Bart gets back, he'll add you, okay? I apologize. Maybe Evelyn will add you too. I don't know. I'm a complete technological idiot, though. Jack's got ace-king. He limped in. Hov's gonna make it 120 with ace-queen. Well, that's going to bring in Mike. He's going to call it the queen-jack suited. And Jack's in there with ace-king. And we're going to flop. A lot of Broadway out there. And there's the king. King 9-3. Fortunately for Hov, he didn't catch an ace. Well, Jack checks it. Hov's going to bet 300. Mike quickly gets out of there. Doesn't call for his gut shot, straight draw. And what is Jack going to do with ace-king here? I mean, I think it's an easy... Well, a lot of different ways to play it, obviously. You could check call, but I don't know how deep he is. And did he move all in? And apparently Jack has moved all in. We try to teach these players, obviously, that when they move all in, they've got to put chips in the pot. But some players are new to the game. They never know. And obviously, Hov's just really posturing here. Nothing he can do except throw the hand away. And the turn in the river, king of spades and a 4. Jack would have made trips. Got about 10 minutes left in tonight's show. Once again, if you missed any part of the show this week, you can catch it the whole replay on Sunday, starting at noon. Buttons in seat number 9 spot, Trish. Corporation Mom. Ace-king suited for Mo. He's been real quiet. And he's going to raise it up. And I don't think anybody's going to call. Nobody does. Mo takes down a small pot. Buttons in seat number 1. Hov is under the gun.
Wow. No, you know what? I'm short.
Eventually it takes a meeting for like 6,000-7,000. You know, and you can make that up.
Jack 3 out there. Nobody has a jack. Best hand right now looks like ace high, ace 9. And Mo's going to bet it, and that's not a bad flop to bluff into. I always talk about that. He's one off the button, right? So he's only got one player really to sweat behind him. And you know if you get called, you pretty much know where your opponent's at. Remember, there's no draw there whatsoever, no straight draw, no flush draw. So if somebody calls you, they clearly have either a jack or a pocket pair, maybe a 3. But obviously you know they're not drawing. One of the reasons why I rarely like to bluff into a pot, like, let's say the flop comes out queen 10-9 with 2 hearts. I don't want to bluff into that pot because I don't know what my opponent has. Is my opponent calling me with a queen? Maybe they have a jack, so they're open-ended. Maybe they have a heart draw. Who knows? I have no idea where they're at. Once again, our video blog will start up next week again when Bart is back. So if you have a hand that's kind of been driving you nuts, and you're not sure if you played it right, or you're not sure how we'd play it, send it to us in an email in the subject heading, right, hand for blog, and then give us all the pertinent information. I mean everything. Tell us what game you were playing, what the stakes were, how deep you were, how deep your opponent is. Were you winning that night? Were you drunk? Was your opponent winning? Was your opponent drunk? All sort of things. And then we will do our best to dissect it in the video blog. Kind of a cool little feature we have now on Live at the Bike. Hobbs going to bet here. He's got a weak ace. Should be enough to take it down, though. Nobody's got much of anything. And he does. Takes it down. Game is kind of slowed down to a crawl here. Unlike a normal 10-20 game from Friday night. You wonder if Mike is on sedatives or something like that. And if he is, I want some. Boston taking a break for a second. Apparently Boston has bought in for $1,000 more. Trish is making it $80 to go. In early position. Probably put on a pretty big hand here, and she does. She has ace-king offsuit. Allen's going to call with the old 7-3. Now, that's Allen's hand. 7-3 suited. It's kind of a Joseph Hashem hand. And you know what? Joe knows how to play it a lot better than Allen does. Flop comes out queen, 6 deuce. Everybody misses. Trish is going to bet and take it down, I'm sure. Got a nice email here. I wanted to read it. Where is it? Let's see. Nice email here from Jay Lavoie. He said, "Hey, Tuck and Bart," even though he's not there. "I just wanted to take 2 minutes to tell you guys that you're doing an awesome job. In about a month, I'm being deployed to Afghanistan, and you have no idea how much I'm going to miss this show. Because of you guys, I was able to bring my game to the next level, as I treated Live at the Bike as my mentor. What more can you ask than 9 players and 2 commentators showing you how to improve your game for just $14.95 a month? Doesn't get better than this. As I said before, keep up the good work. Thanks a lot." Well, thank you very much. Being deployed to Afghanistan, I'm not sure if you're in the armed forces or if you are a contractor, but I'm going to assume you're in the armed forces, and clearly your job's a lot more important than ours. So thank you for keeping us safe. Little shout out to our armed forces. I tell you, it's one thing that just drives me absolutely nuts. Nothing's really going on this flop here. Mike's going to steal it. Ah, well, Trish isn't going to let him steal it. She's got pocket 5s. Allen's going to call with the old ace-10. He's got, wow, he makes trips. Allen makes trips. Unbelievable. This is going to drive Mike crazy. And they check to Allen, and he bets $300. And is he going to get paid off? That's the question. Mike kind of slow played the Jack-8, not being a big hand, but normally he'll bet that on the flop, but he checked it on the flop. Nobody believed him, and Mike's going to pay him off, and he's going to get sick when Allen turns over ace-10. You get a shot of Mike there. Well, he didn't rip any cards up or anything. Give him credit for that. Anyway, I'm going to throw my one beef in there. You know, I have no problem. I think it's our American right to, if we want to protest a war, if we're not happy with what our country is doing, that's fine. But what drives me nuts is when people don't support our troops. That drives me absolutely insane. I have no problem if you're anti-war, you don't think we should be going to war, that's fine. That's your right as an American. But it's not your right as an American, I don't think, to support our troops who keep us safe. Anyway, my 2 cents. Back to the game. Buttons in seat 6. Last hand of the night. Mike's going to raise it up. King 6 of diamonds.
Like what you did on the set. He raised it 60. 60 more? He says I know.
And Allen calls, of course, and we're going to see this heads up. Allen and Mike. And actually, Boston's in there as well. I'm sorry. Boston's got the old 10-7, and Boston's flop top pair and he's outflopped both players. 10-6-3 out there. Now, Mike's got second pair. Alan's got bottom pair. And I think both players are going to call, and we're quickly at about a $700 pot. Turns a 5, changes nothing. Alan and Boston have both picked up a draw. They have a straight draw if the 4 were to come. And how is Boston going to play this? Well, Alan checks. Boston's going to keep betting. The board is 2 draw heavy. Mike's going to step out of there. Alan's going to throw it away, and Boston wins a pot. That might be Boston's first win of the night. It's about time he popped his cherry. There you go. Good job there, Boston. By the way, Boston is the cauliflower of the show. And that is going to do it. What a night of Live at the Bike. Great promotion we had. By the way, the name of the winner is Roger Ford, a.k.a. Pappy Slap, out of Arkansas. Congratulations. You just won yourself $500 of cash. In cash. Thank you for entering. I want to thank everybody else who entered the contest. And have a great weekend. I'm David Tuckman. For everybody in the booth, thank you. See you Monday. Wow!
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.